Second quarter brought to you by Bulldog Station, where you can get your
Well, so far it's all Dragons, 21-0 as we start this second quarter of play. What do the first quarter of stats look like, Rod Zook?
Blake Middleton, 4 carries, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 32-yarder as well, so not too bad.
Here's the punt from the Pirates. Bowman back, lets it settle over his shoulder, catches it off the hip to the ground, picks it up, returns across the 35, and he's going to be dropped right at the 37-yard line. So the stop made, that ball sailed on him a little bit, came back over his shoulder, kind of went through his arms and bounced perfectly back up.
Now they got a bit of a break there because that could have been very unfortunate, but able to hang on. Also, Gary Cross leading the way in receiving, of course. 2 catches, although one really counts. 2 catches.
Both kind of count.
81 yards, but one of them was 63 yards. Not too bad.
And pay dirt
play of the game
on that one. All right, back in the pistol formation is Dominic McKenzie. The swing pass on the outside is going to be caught by the Dragons and then it's dropped for a loss. Trey Griffin barely got the ball under control. 3-yard loss. It'll drop it to the 35.
Well, the success on that all depends on Bowman being able to block his man, and he missed the block, went down on his knees, tried to cut him down. That didn't happen, and so Griffin had nowhere to go.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Jake Murphy, my little grandson. He's listening today, and he's going to be a former Blue Dragon here in about 16 years. He's got some size to him. Here to give. This time it's going to be again to the Blue Dragons running back. And let's see if it's Middleton. And he turns the corner, picked up that lost yards, moves it up to about the 40. And it'll be 3rd down and 7.
You know, Blake, for a college running back, is not that big, 184 pounds, but he is just so fast.
I'll tell you what, it's kind of like what they talked about in the World Series with Kane and Dyson. That's what speed do, and that's what quick opening speed does for Middleton. You don't need much room. There's a pass out to Middleton, trying to get away from the receiver. He's going to be held by one shoe and dropped for a 2-yard loss.
A nice open field tackle for the Pirates. That was Cameron Durant, cornerback, a freshman, making that one-on-one tackle.
Your wife's been visiting some great kids down in Florida.
She is. Yeah. She's been down there seeing two of the 4 grandchildren celebrating their birthdays down there. So she said it's actually raining in Florida, so we almost have nicer weather here today.
All right, 4th down punt formation for the Dragons. One of the first times that actually, well, I think Burdett had one other punt for positive yardage, real positive. There's his kick rugby style again. It's going to hit, take a Blue Dragon bounce. Picked up by the Pirates and pick it up at the 25. Trying to turn the corner. He gets stopped out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Nice return by the Pirates out there, however, by Dwayne Smith.
And a lot of courage for Smith because he had a Blue Dragon bearing down on him and had to whip it up all to come to him on the bounce. They took it out the side.
Blue Dragon was about 1.5 feet away from him when he decided to take it.
That takes all kinds of courage.
1st and 10. Indy has the ball on their own 36-yard line.
It's important for Independence. They had a great drive to start this ball game, their first possession, and since then the Blue Dragon defense has just absolutely shut them down.
Blue Dragon basketball starts tonight. Girls game at 5:30, guys at 7:30. Rusty Hills with the call on the guys game. All right. High formation set. Here's Gimmel, the quarterback. The turn to give up the middle. It's Collins. Collins going to be wrapped up again. The Blue Dragons defensive line just surging and dropping it for a 2-yard loss. So maybe stands a forward progress of about a half a foot. So we'll call it 2nd down and 9.
The Dragons just started to put people in the box and bringing more people than Independence can block, despite the size of the line for Indy. Dragons are just so quick getting to the ball that there's just nowhere to run.
It is Collins back there again. Gimmel, the quarterback, fullback on his right side is going to be Tyler McDonald. Split out wides left side, twins to the left, single set back to the right side, give up the middle. Collins trying to fight for yardage, carries it to the 40.
At that time, Collins got through the first layer of the defense, really running hard. He is not a big man by any stretch. At 5'8", 200 pounds, good weight, but yeah, not a lot of height. He is from Coffeyville, but he went to Field Kidley High School.
Third down and about 6 facing the Pirates of Independence. They had a nice opening game drive after the Blue Dragons had scored on that 63-yarder, Rod Zook. They had a nice opening drive that kind of stalled out on them inside the red zone. And they got the Blue Dragons got the big sack on 4th down. And since then, Pirates haven't been able to muster too much. All right, to give the fake play action pass. Gimel wants to air it out. He has a receiver out there, nicely covered in and out of the hands of the intended receiver out there for the Pirates. That was Jalen Stevenson.
Now Shamley with the coverage one-on-one there, able to.
Actually, it was Holsey.
Holsey, sorry.
It was Holsey on the intended receiver. I apologize out there. Nice stop by Shamley. Nice coverage. All right, they're going to punt the football away.
And no cute formation this time. They're lining up to take the punt.
Wesley Collins, he'll kick it away. He's also a running back. Like you said, he's out of Coffeyville. Here's the kick. High arching spinning kick is going to be taken by the Blue Dragons. A fumble, but out of bounds, luckily, as Bowman took a chance.
And Bowman got blown up the second he fumbled that football. It just about makes you free game because you're concentrating on where the ball's going and not one's coming at you. And he got run over.
26-yard line is where they're going to put it.
We got a flag,
too. We do have a flag, so let's see what the call is going to be. Flag was at about the 40.
And Independence pointing like it's against Hutch, and it
is.
Or we have all of those penalties have just hurt so bad.
Late hit. Number 23, return team.
Return team picks that up. It's going to be half to this. This is the goal. Hunter DeGalgo has the finger pointed at him.
If I had a nickel for every time.
Oh boy,
we've had a 15-yard.
We could go to.
We could retire.
Casinos. Speaking of casinos, you hear about some guy putting $100,000 early on in the season on the Royals. $2.5 million return. Now, who the heck has $100,000 just to say, I think they might do it in about 6 months?
Yeah, well, neither one of us.
There we go, to give up the middle, and the Dragons don't get much out of it as Middleton was corralled. Maybe a pickup of a couple yards on the play. Gets back to the 15. By the way, 1st and 10 from the 12. So Hutchinson faces 2nd down and 2nd down and 8. And those are the football on the 15.
Remember, the Dragons going against when there is. It is pretty fresh, a little more than what I think was in the forecast, probably going about 10 to 15.
Here back to passes. McKenzie steps up. Now he's going to accelerate, get across the 20. He's going to be dropped to the 21, 22-yard line. Is he close to the 1st down? I believe he is, but about a yard short maybe.
And I'm not sure that wasn't a broken play because he turned, and I think he was looking for a quick hitter to the right side, and nobody was there, and he just took off running.
All right, 3rd down and 2 is what you're going to say. So they say his knee hit at the 21. So 3rd down and short for the Blue Dragons. 3rd and 2 from the 21. Hutch will stack up in the backfield. Don McKenzie with his heel on the 15. The turn to give to Middleton. Middleton up the middle, hits the hole hard, and they're not going to get it. It's going to be 4th down.
He got stopped at the 21-yard line.
Coming out with the stop is going to be Malik Tollinger out of Shelbyville, Tennessee. We have a Pirate hurt on the field.
We got 2.
2 Pirates are down.
One is up now, but the other one is not up, and now we have a flag, too.
Evidently a little taunting might have happened. That's what's going to go against the Blue Dragons. You kind of can't have that.
That is the one. I know that is the one thing that has just absolutely frustrated Ryan Rhodes all season long.
Looks from this angle, I can't, well, I'm not going to speculate. Big defensive lineman, and he is laying prone on the ground. It looks to be a knee. They're going to call the training staff out to take a look at him. Well, they do. Let's take a half-minute break. It's 10:13 to go. In the second quarter of play, Dragons 21, and again the Independence Pirates nothing. We'll be back in about a half minute. Blue Dragons, you kind of can't have that.
That is the one. I know that is the one thing that has just absolutely frustrated Ryan Rhodes all season long.
Looks from this angle, I can't. Well, I'm not going to speculate. Big defensive lineman, and he is laying prone on the ground. It looks to be a knee. They're going to call the training staff out to take a look at him. Well, they do. Let's take a half-minute break. It's 10:13 to go in the course second quarter play. Dragons 21. Well, the player's up is Xavier Ramos out of Topeka, and he gets up gingerly and will limp to the sidelines. It was taunting called, half the distance to the goal. And it's going to be fourth down?
Yeah. Well, it was going to be 4th and 3, but certainly going to back him up just simply because it was a dead ball foul. So it was after the play. He'll get the down over. And Dragons kicking into the wind from in their own end zone. Need to be very, very careful.
Fourth down and 12 to go. And Hutchinson will punt the football away. Burdett, side-footed kick, rugby style. It's going to hit at the 40, at the 35 and take a Blue Dragon bounce again, close to midfield, and it's going to stop dead at the 49-yard line. So at the Dragon 49, 1st and 10 for the Pirates. Their best field position since the start of the ballgame, where they had the deep drive into the red zone.
Yeah, indeed, and they really need to get something going again. If they want to stay in this ballgame, they're down 3 touchdowns. It is still very early. There's still 10 minutes left in the first half. They need a good sustained drive. I mean, they kind of wore that Dragon defense down a little bit when they marched down the field. But so far, Hutchin's been able to really stick it to them since then.
Glenn Grunwald, Rod Zook, Steve Carpenter, glad to have you along live from Independence. 9:56 to go in quarter 2. Dragons up 21-0. Independence Pirates with the ball, 1st and 10 at the Dragons 49-yard line. Boy, Notre Dame putting it all over Pitt today, 34-17. That's in the 4th quarter of play already. And Vanderbilt leads Florida 7-6. That game also in the 4th quarter. Back to passes Gimmel. He'll swing one out on the left flat. It's going to be caught by the Independence Pirates and down to about the 43-yard line. Nice pickup of 5 yards on the pass play. Just a little flare pass to the left side, and it's successful for the Pirates. I think the catch was made by Holsey over there.
So they faked the dive over to Baden, and the bad news is Baden, who didn't even have the footballs, now hobbling off the field.
He hobbles off, and also coming up a little gimpy was Holsey on the catch on the far side. 2nd down and 4, nose of the football at the 43. At the Blue Dragon 43. Gimmel sends wideouts left and right. He's got a twin set on both sides. I formation set. He has Collins in the backfield. Looks left. Now he's going to call timeout. They're going to take a break. 9:07 to go in this first half of play. It's the Dragons 21, the Pirates 0. They're going to keep it here. Let's keep it here.
They threw a flag.
They sure did.
So
false start. So we're going to keep it here, not the timeout yet. So
they were trying to call a timeout. They didn't get it done before the flag flew.
Gimping off is going to be Holsey. I thought he was a little gimpy out there. He's going to come over, and he will have to be attended to as well as he's limping. So now he's 2nd down and 9's the call. So take away that nice pickup on 1st down. We'll send wideouts on the right side. Lex Hubbard on our near side. He'll stack up also with Dwayne Smith. The give up the middle is Collins, and he's going to be thrown for maybe a 2-yard gain maybe a yard and a half.
Collins had a little bit of a seam that time. Tomlin in there to slow him down until the rest of the troops arrived to finish him off.
Tomlin, linebacker out of Marietta, Georgia. All right, Indy facing 3rd down and 8 from the Dragon 47. This is when the Dragons really shine, Rod Zook.
Well, they're just coming with the 3 down linemen. Everybody else playing off the ball.
All right, here comes the Collins with the draw play. Carries forward, pick up on maybe a yard and a half. 4th down situation now, punt situation for the Pirates again.
And another great tackle by Kyle Wilson. Again, they were playing off the ball with just 3 down linemen, but the second the ball was handed off, Wilson was right up there behind the first 3 linemen, able to make a great open field tackle.
All right, 4th down and 7 from the Dragon 46. And back at his own 41 will be Collins to catch the snap as we get set. Dragons will put a man back. It's going to be Bowman. Bowman just about muffed the punt. There's a kick. Bowman's going to let it bounce. It takes an Indy bounce all the way down, and they're going to count it at the goal line, or did it go into the end zone?
Well, the defender was standing in the end zone when he touched the football.
Yeah, what are they going to rule over there? Here's a side judge going to come in. It's got to be a touchback.
It's a touchback, definitely. I mean, he just waited too long for that. He could have stopped it at about the 5, could have stopped it at the 2, and then took one more step back.
It took a quick tumble, and I think he was surprised, started backpedaling. He was about to drop it, and he didn't realize his heels were already in the end zone. 1st and 10 now at the Dragon 20. Hutchinson will set up shop with 7:19 to go in this first half of play, second quarter of action. Got that text that little Jake Murphy was listening, said that was his grandpa. They call me Poppy. And he is going to be football. Matter of fact, I think there's 3 football players in that family. Timeout's going to be taken. We're going to take a break as well. 7:15 left to go in this first half of play. We're in the second quarter. Dragons lead at 21-0 over Independence. We'll be back in a half minute.
Check out our website, www.ndcc.edu.
At the Dragon 20, Hutchinson will set up shop with 7:19 to go. So this first half of play, second quarter of action. Got that text that Jake Murphy was listening, said that was his grandpa. They call him Poppy. And he is going to be football. I think there's 3 football players in that family. Timeout's going to be taken. We're going to take a break as well. 7:15 left to go in this first half. All right, welcome back. 7:15 to go in the second quarter of play. 21-zip. Hutchinson on top. Timeout was taken. And now the Blue Dragons will set up shop. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. McKenzie, who's gone the distance at quarterback, back in the shotgun. He wants to throw the quick out, gets it thrown and in and out of the hands of the wide receiver on the far side. Drop made out there by Logan Mays.
Yeah, that ball just thrown behind Mays, and then Mays saw a defender coming very quickly as Kwan Daniels was closing the distance in a hurry.
Middleton getting some time back there now. He's the lone setback. They'll go with wideouts on the left and right side. Twins on the left. They'll move the slot over a little bit. The give, the delay to Middleton, and he carries across up to the 25-yard line. Pick up of about 5 on the carry.
We know the one thing, and we saw the Dragons do this quite a bit earlier in the season, and they've kind of gotten away from it a little bit, is overloading one side and throwing out there and just letting the receivers out there crowd things up and find the open blocks. And
I like the bubble screens myself. Going to roll off those. Bowman in the slot. Again, Middleton back to block. They get across. Bowman makes the catch at the 30, 32, up to the 35-yard line where he spun down, but it picks up the first down. Nice job by the Blue Dragons.
Yeah, Bowman and Cross all both at the left side just push the receivers off, get some distance between them, and then Bowman able to make the catch.
Jace Brown with the stop out there for the Independence Pirates. The turn to give them to Middleton. Middleton across the right side, wrapped up after he gets to the 39. So a nice pickup of 4 yards. 2nd down and 6 for Hutchinson. Last game of the year for the Blue Dragons.
Well, Blake Middleton's got to be getting close to about 60 yards right now.
All right, here's the give to Middleton again, trying to turn the corner. Crawls forward and came close to the first down. He's about 2 yards short. They're going to mark his knee down at the 38.
One thing about Blake, and again, he's so fast, but if he works on anything, I'm sure he'd like to gain at least about 10 pounds, make himself a little bit harder to bring down.
All right, timeout's going to be taken by the Pirates as the head coach Collins calls timeouts for the Collins. We'll get a break in as well. 5:58 to go in this second quarter play. Dragons 21, Independence 0. We'll be back in 1 minute. Game of the year for the Blue Dragons.
Blake Middleton's got to get close to about 60
Special
yards
thanks
right
to
now.
our 2015-16 Pirate corporate sponsors, Great Western Dining, CPR Pest Management, Hughes Industrial Supplies, TLC Groundskeeping, Quality Toyota, H&O Block, SCK Construction, First National Bank, Quality Motors, Fast Lane Performance, D-Rail Commodities, with Lumber, and Great Western Dining.
5:58 to go in this second quarter of play. Dragons 21, Independence 0. We'll be back in 1 minute.
CPR Pest Management, Hughes Industrial Supplies, TLC Groundskeeping, Quality Toyota, H&O Glass, SCK Construction, First National Bank, Quality Motors.
Well, third down and short. Third down and about 2 for the Blue Dragons. 5:58 to go in quarter 2. The ball's on the 43-yard line. Back to pass. McKenzie. McKenzie rolls to his left, trying to find some room. Has a first down, spins away. He's up to the 49. Nice extra yardage after nothing was there in the pass play.
Boy, McKenzie able to escape about 3 would-be Pirate tacklers and just literally squirm his way out there. And again, another
Pirate down.
Independence player down. That looks like it's Mose Rivera.
Is it Mose Rivera? Okay.
I thought it was 95. Maybe it is
Third
35.
down and short. We will check it here in just a second. They're going to come out and attend to that player. Dragon players go to their sideline. Basketball tonight at the Sports Arena. Thank you, Rod Zick, for filling in me for last night. I was doing some streaming with the Hutch High as their season came to an end last night. The hands of a very good Blue Jays team out of Junction City. But you had there was a couple pretty good games. Steve Carpenter with the Blue Dragon Sports Network call on the big come from behind win by 5, 65-61 over NEO by the Lady Blue Dragons, and your game against Heston was a good one.
Yeah, 102 to 85, and Heston team, kind of a battle of the defending Region 6 champions. Heston, the Division 2 champion, of course, the Blue Dragons, the Division 1 champion, and it was definitely a track meet. Heston, not very big, but boy, they can take it to the basket. That's for sure.
Good job by the little point guard for the Blue Dragons, Haynes Jones, with 28 points last night. To give up the middle to Middleton, finds open running spaces up to about the 45. It'll bring up a second down and short situation for the Dragons. They'll mark it right at the 45-yard line.
Malik Trollinger pretty much saved a touchdown because if he gets by Trollinger, Middleton was going to go a long ways.
One more man to beat, and he would have been off to the races. All right, he'll set Middleton up on his left hip. Give it to Middleton again, trying to turn the corner, has some room, has the first down across the 40 to the 39-yard line.
That's probably a little more suited to his style, trying to get it to the outside. Let that speed give him an advantage, but great run by Middleton again.
All right, they're going to move chains. It'll be first for the Dragons from the 39. Pirates on the move inside of Pirate territory, excuse me. Again, Dom McKenzie, the quarterback. Gets set, wants to throw the football, tucks it away. He's going to run with it, picks up positive yardage up to the 35. A drop him there.
McKenzie really fighting hard. Remember, he carries pretty good weight, but he's not big by some quarterback standards, especially nowadays where you like your quarterback to be about 6'4", 6'5", and he definitely does not fit that mold. Tough running.
Casey Wyandotte, hometown, quarterback 226. He's a transfer from Minnesota, redshirted up there. Don McKenzie gets set. Again, Middleton on his hip. He gives it off to him, and he's off to the right. That's Griffin. Griffin turns the corner, 10 yards, 5-yard line, 4-yard line, 3-yard line, down to the 2. Nice run by Trey Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin finding the open seam just off the left side and able to turn it upfield and really accelerated a hurry before being brought down at the 2.
Well, he gets the first down, but then he took it all the way down, like you said, to right at the 2-yard line. See if they officially mark it there. They were. First and goal now from the 2. Bowman in the backfield. Here's McKenzie. Para shift over. So will Mays over the right side. McKenzie up under center. Takes a snap. Quarterback sneak. Tries to churn his legs and gets right down to the goal line. No signal as of yet. Dragon's saying he got a touchdown, but I don't believe he did. They're going to say his knee hit at the 1-foot line.
Well, he was trying to reach out with the football, and even if they spot it there, it was still not going to be enough, and they did. It'll be at the half-yard line.
All right, big stop made out there by number 48, Emu. Edney Emu out of Pego. Bowman in the backfield. Do you know where Pego is?
Nobody went to Tafuna High School.
All right, they give up the middle. Middleton across. Tried to break the plane. Yes, he did. A 1-yard touchdown for Middleton. His third of the game. 3:15 to go in the second quarter of play. Dragons 27-0. They lead it.
Blake Middleton now with 81 yards rushing and all those touchdowns to go with. He is having a great ball game.
So 6 on the board. Middleton with a 32-yard run, a 10-yard run, and now a 1-yard run. All right, big stop made out there by number 48. You're in for the extra point. Edney Emu out of Pego. The Dragons get set. Do you know where Nia gets set? We've struggled in this category this year. Here's the hold and the kick. It is on its way. It is up, and it is no good. Wide left. So the score with 3:15 left to go in the second quarter play, Dragons 27, Independence 0. Dragon kickoff coming your way right after this.
Great ball game.
So 6 on the board. Middleton with a 32-yard run, a 10-yard run, and now a 1-yard run. Big stop made out there by number 48. You're in for the
week ahead for Pirate Sports. Basketball, home Monday, November 9th at 6 and 8 p.m. versus Oklahoma Wesleyan. At Garden City, Thursday through Saturday tournament. At Fort Scott Wednesday, the 18th at 5:30 and 7:30 p.m.
Well, right here it's 27-0. Missed extra point for the Blue Dragons with 3:15 to go in quarter number 2. Hutchinson in full control, getting set for the kickoff. Notre Dame, number 5 in the nation, leading Pitt 35-17. That's 6:53 to go in the fourth. Vanderbilt still a point up on Florida, 7-6. Florida ranked number 10. That one's in the third quarter of play, or fourth quarter play, with 5:47 to go. And Penn State 21 and Northwestern 20. How about that one in the Big Ten? All right, here we go with the kickoff. 3:15 to go before intermission. They'll tow it. This one kind of pooched up over on the right side, taken at the 33 by an up back, and he'll be thrown right down at the 35-yard line.
Well, I guarantee you, Cole Greenwood is a defensive lineman, a freshman from Lawrence, not expecting to return kicks, but he did a good job with that.
Got really excited all of a sudden, didn't he? Ball's coming down on him. It's 1st and 10 now for the Pirates from their own 35-yard line. Now the side judge throwing the ball in, and it's Cole Cox, an Independence player, right
that's
at 35.
Something about the ball in Dwayne Smith today. It's just not going well. That's twice he's been hitting the melon with the football.
You know how they do the underhand spin, and they just caught him right, like you said, right in the head. All right, here we get set. 3:08 to go. Quarter number 2. What a gorgeous new press box they have here at Independence. All right, back to pass. Gimmel throws it up field. The catch is made by your fullback, but actually about a loss of maybe a yard on the play. They're going to mark about a half a yard. They'll mark it at the 34.5.
Well, they picked the handoff going to the right, then rolled out left, and Bingham was right there to make sure the quarterback wasn't going anywhere, and forced an errant throw.
McDonald couldn't get it going. He's from Riverton. 2nd and 10. No gain on the play. He didn't make the catch. Now we'll get set. Again, they'll go with the full house back field. Collins, the deep back. Here's the give to Collins. He'll run it straight up the middle and picks up a couple yards, positive yardage to about the 37-yard line. 38's where they'll mark it.
Collins tried to go up the middle, found that road block, so he squirted to the outside, able to get a couple of yards before Morrow brings him down.
Boy, Webb and Bingham playing well today. Banks out there as well. Dragons go with a 4-man front now, or actually 3. Yeah, they'll go with a 3-man front. Back to pass. Gimmel steps up. Now he wants to run it. Now he'll throw it up the field. Ball's knocked away. It's picked off. Yes, it is. The pick, I think, is made. What they're going to call.
Well, it's tipped up in the air, and that was Smith that was the intended receiver. It was deflected in the air, and Golson comes away with the interception. This time, it was caught cleanly.
It was ricocheted away, and it'll be caught right at the Dragon 36-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Dragons with a pick.
That ball was just a little bit underthrown. Smith trying to come back and get the ball, doing a good job, but that's what you're supposed to do. The ball's coming up, show you come back and get it, but it just deflected off his shoulder and into the hands of a Dragon defender.
All right, minute 46 to go before halftime.
Still time.
27-0. Blue Dragons, yeah, you have time to get another one on the board here. They'll switch across to the left side. He'll split out wide to the left side. Again, shotgun formation for McKenzie. McKenzie fires one. Ball slips away. It came off the chest, and that's going to be a, they can say that's a fumble.
They tried a hook and ladder. Caught it and tried to do a hook and ladder play, and he threw it right by the guy who pushed the trailer. And Independence recovers the ball.
Good idea. I thought either the catch was made or it came off his shoulder, off his shoulder pads, but it was a hook and ladder, like you said.
He caught it and he tried to shovel it off and completely missed its intended.
It'll be a turnover. So the Dragons cop it up. It'll be 1st and 10 for Independence on their own 35-yard line. Now here's the thing, and we're gun shy from last week. We really are, but you want to shut Independence down right here.
Oh, they have absolutely got to. You cannot give them any reason to feel good about anything. This reminiscent of a couple of weeks ago when in the Iowa Western game.
Yeah, last week actually, yeah. All right, here we go. Full house backfield for Independence. 1st and 10 on the Dragon 35-yard line. Gimmel back to pass. Goes across the middle. Incomplete pass. It falls incomplete. They'll stop the clock with 1:35 to go.
Now Dwayne Smith again, who was open right at the 15-yard line.
Gimmel's starting to pass the ball quite a bit. Do you come with the blitz or you stay at home here? 2nd down and 10.
You're getting to him with 3. Well, here, this late in the half, you may have to start bringing a little bit.
I don't think
Dragons
really
kind of with their thing is they're getting to the quarterback with 3 down line, so no reason to gamble.
Split outs wide, left and right for Indy. Back pass formation, it's a fumble, and Gimmel goes down on a knee, and now he comes up, and they think he took a weak shot. Now there's a fisticuffs breakout, and there's a fight all over the field.
Yep, big fight, everybody involved.
Oh my goodness, they are all over the field. Flags are flying everywhere. Coaches are trying to pull kids off. Gimmel thought there was a cheap shot. It was not. Spike, he got hit, and there is a ruckus on the field right at the 40-yard line.
Hutch doing a good job of keeping everybody back. Although they're now starting to try to walk out on the field, they're doing a great job of keeping the other players, other than the 11 that were out on the field. But this was ugly because everybody from Independence was out there, and there are all kinds of things going on now. This got very ugly, and I'm not trying to defend it, but I cannot say Gimmel didn't have a right to be a little miffed because that ball was fumbled. He was down on a knee, and then he just got blown.
But he was trying to get up, though. He did get blown up, but he was trying to get up, and the hit was made. Gimmel's the one that came up swinging, and then Spike stepped back, and then after the first punch was thrown, there you go.
But he knows that he's down already. I think he was just trying to get up when he got blown up. I can't say he was going to try to run with it. The whistles were blowing. He knew he was down. He wasn't going anywhere. He had to go to a knee to get the ball, and that got ugly in a hurry.
Now they're all sorting out, and there's going to be some ejections out of this one.
There was no reason. I'm not trying to defend Gimmel because he certainly shouldn't have tried to take a swing at him, but he got hit absolutely unprovoked, and I'm not sure that would not have been a penalty if he hadn't got up and swung at the guy anyway.
What I saw was Spike, though, put his hands up like I didn't do anything wrong, and then here came the punch.
Right. Well, I'm talking about that there's a chance that he might have gotten whistled for the hit because the play was over, and I'm not talking about the fisticuffs afterward. I'm talking about taking a shot on Gimmel, the quarterback, but hard to know because it happened so fast. The officials never really got a chance to throw the flag from that play before the fight started, and then the fight got ugly in a hurry.
And here's the thing: both teams know, you know what? We're not playing next week, so here we go.
Chippy, start getting chippy.
You know what my point is? There's not going to be a suspension for like next week. That's my point. And eventually they could be. Yeah, for freshmen it could carry over to another year. So let's see what the call is going to be. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flags. Anybody that had flag threw it in this melee that took place.
It was. It got ugly. You don't want to see that right now, and it's hard to tell. One thing, credit to Hutch, they were for the most part everybody stayed at the bench. Everybody from Independence was running out there, although not all of them got involved. And we're not talking, just swinging. It got ugly, and I know there was one. I don't know who the lineman coach is for Hutchinson, but he was laying on top. He actually pulled one of the Hutchinson players back and threw him to the ground and laid on top of him, trying to get him out of it because he was being pursued by an Independence player who was trying to take on 3 Blue Dragons.
Now, Coach Rhodes
who was showing a lot of restraint not to get further involved in this.
If you leave the bench, it's automatics. That's probably what they're sorting out.
You can just about eject the whole Independence team then because they were all out there.
Now they're talking with Coach Rhodes at the 40-yard line. If you're watching this on the stream, you can actually go and rewind that back and see for yourself. And now the coach for Indy.
Unsportsmanlike conduct foul on both teams.
Both teams.
Well, that's a moot point.
From Independence, number 1, number 23, number 52, and number 75. From Hutchinson,
Okay.
number 25, and number 33.
So 2 Blue Dragons were ejected and 4 Independence Pirates were ejected, including their starting quarterback.
Their starting quarterback, Amonfo, ejected for the Blue Dragons, and Kyle Wilson, which is a pretty big ejection for the Blue Dragons. And, you know, again, a credit to Hutch for just keeping as many people back at the bench. Really, the only 2 that were really involved were
So 4 Pirates were kicked out, ejected, and 2 Dragons ejected, offsetting penalties from both teams. So the football right now is at the 39-yard line. And I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm trying to hear what he was saying.
Absolutely. You know, I'm not defending either side, but you don't know that there wasn't going to be a penalty on that hit right there that started the whole thing. And
well,
it's hard.
Here's what started it was a fumble. The fumble actually started and Gimmel went down, like you said, and I think he did say, "Hey, I'm down. I'm on a knee right here." The hit came in, and then right away Gimmel retaliated, went after Spite, and then Spite hit back, and there you go.
Gimmel didn't really get a chance to get up. He was on his hands and knees, and he kind of got up like this, and before he could even start to stand up, he got drilled.
All right, now they're setting where the ball's going to be, because his knee was on the ground for 39. Steve, did you get the Dragons that were kicked out? Omonfo and Kyle Wilson were the 2 Dragons that were kicked out. So Omonfo was out of the ball game.
A couple of linemen for Independence were kicked out of the ball game, and again, their quarterback was as well.
All right, here we go. This is a 3rd down and 14.
This would be Jonte Perkins, I believe, at quarterback.
Perkins out of Overland Park, seeing some action here. He gives up the middle and a carry forward for about 3, maybe 2 yards, and a surge of the line for defensively puts them back. It'll bring up a 4th down 11. Well, we had a little action here with 1:05 to go in the second quarter of play. 27-0, no love lost between either team. Dragons have won 10 straight over Indy, but the Indies has played them tough.
You know, there's one other thing right here that the Dragons need to do is not give up anything after what was a very ugly play on their part. Turned over the football on the hook and ladder. Great idea, could have gone for a long ways, but the pitch just completely missed the mark, and unfortunately, with the turnover, the Dragons
are not going to punt it. They're going to go for it.
Oh,
5th down 11. Back to pass here. They'll heave it out. There's a throw by Perkins. Man's there. It's going to be picked away. It's picked off. Blue Dragons with the interception coming up with it. Jordan Knoll.
Yeah, nice play by Knoll, going high in the air, a little bit taller than the intended receiver. Dwayne Smith able to haul it in at the 5, and a big hold for the Dragons after that turnover.
Jonte Perkins with the pick. It ends up being 1st and 10 for the Dragons at the 5-yard line. So 25 seconds remaining to go. And half number 1. We're in the second quarter. 27-0. Dragons on top.
Put your emotions in check. Don't try to do anything big. Kneel on the ball. Go in at halftime with a 27-0 lead right here.
That's a good idea.
At the 5-yard line. No reason to do anything. And now the Dragons call timeout.
The Dragons will take a timeout. We will as well. 25 ticks left in the clock. Second quarter play. 27-0. Dragons on top. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Jonte Perkins with the pick. It ends up being 1st and 10 for the Dragons at the 5-yard line. So 25 seconds remaining to go. And half number 1. We're in the second quarter. 27-0. Dragons on top.
Put your emotions in check. Don't try to do anything big. Kneel on the ball. Go in at halftime with a 27-0 lead right here. At the 5-yard line. No reason to do anything. And now the Dragons call timeout.
Dragons will take a timeout. We will as well. 25 ticks left in the clock. Back in Independence. 27-0. Blue Dragons on top. Remember a couple basketball games where there was folding chairs grabbed and swung around on a court. There you get that. That was by a fan. So here we go. And They stopped play again.
No, they just knelt on the ball. They just took a knee.
They just took a knee, and that should do it. Well, there's 17 seconds to go.
Now, they never reset the play clock, so yeah, that's going to do it.
Now we got set.
Nope, that's it.
That's it. That's going to be halftime. So halftime is here. Interesting into this last couple minutes of the second quarter of play. Hutchinson leads it 27-0. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. Come and get set for the Medicine Shop in-game capsule brought to you by the Little White Castle at 14th and Main. The Medicine Shop in Hutchinson. 27-0. Blue Dragons on top of Independence. We'll be back in 2 minutes. They stopped play again.
No, they
$1 billion got left behind by people who did their own taxes. $1 billion with a B. 9 zeros, America. $1 billion design. Your taxes aren't done until they're done with H&R Block. Get your billion back, America.
H&R Block, we strive to get you every penny you deserve. In a study of self-prepared tax returns, block tax pros found no money for about 1 in 5 people. Each tax situation is different, and not everyone receives an income.
The Medicine Shop in Hutchinson, 27-0. Blue Dragons on top of Independence. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
$1 got left behind by people who did their own.
Please welcome to the field the Independence Community College Pride of the Seas Marching Band under the direction of Michelle Rutherford and assisted by Bridget Carson and Eric Rutherford. The 2015 field commanders are Cody Watley and Courtney Hunter. We've had a great semester, and now we just want to dance. Get up and get down with our Just Dance show. The title song, Just Dance, was recorded by Lady Gaga in 2008. Next, we'll bust a move with Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani, which was a huge hit in 2004. Finally, our last song today will feature the ICC cheer team with the hit song, Cupid Shuffle. This hip-hop song was recorded by Cupid in 2007. Come on, y'all, get down with your bad self. Eric Rutherford. The 2015 field commanders are Cody Watley and Courtney Hunter. We've had a great semester, and now we just want to dance. Get up and get down with our Just Dance show. The title song, Just Dance, was recorded by Lady Gaga in 2008. Next, we'll bust a move with Hollaback Girl by Gwen Stefani, which was a huge hit in 2004. Finally, our last song today will feature the ICC cheer team with the hit song, Cupid Shuffle.
Everybody, and welcome back to Independence, Kansas. Glenn Grunwald, Ron Zook, Steve Carpenter, glad to have you along. And the fireworks all started in the first quarter, first play of the game. Gary Cross with a 63-yard touchdown catch. That is the all-state catch of the game so far from McKenzie. And it made it 7-0. Then Middleton with a 10-yard run. And then Middleton with a 32-yard run. It was 21-0 Hutch. And then Blake Middleton with a 1-yard run, 27-0. Point after failed. And Rod Zook, an entertaining first half of play.
Well, and some for the wrong reasons. And
thought it was 4th of July with the fireworks that went off.
Yeah, indeed. You know, the Hutch coaches are standing out here in the end zone right now, and they are just kind of talking about various things, but I'm sure they're also trying to come up with ways to try to keep everybody calm down here and on track. There's still a half of football left to play after some things happening here in that first half. You normally don't see until towards the end of the ball game with a fight bench clearing brawl.
Let's clarify that also. Joshua Manfo, who is a freshman, was kicked out and now might carry over to the first game of next year if he's still a Dragon.
He'll carry over to the first game next year. Independence lost 4 players, including their starting quarterback. Kyle Wilson was also kicked out of the ball game, the sophomore for Hutchinson. So got a little bit ugly there. Hopefully cooler heads prevail here in the second half. Let's go to
Medicine Shop in-game capsule.
The Medicine Shop, 14th of Main. Rick Stone and the rest of that crew doing a great job as always. And you want to make sure you stop there and take care of all your needs for your medical supplies and such. In the ball game so far, the Blue Dragons led by Blake Middleton, who has 12 carries for 81 yards and those 3 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 7 yards a carry. Trey Griffin with a nice run as well. One carry, it went 31 yards. As far as passing, McKenzie efficient. He had the one 63-yard touchdown strike, the first play of the game, and he is right now 7 of 9 for 108 yards. For the Pirates of Independence, Tremaine Batten, 6 carries, just 18 yards. Wesley Collins, 8 carries and 12 yards. Gemmel, who is now out of the game, 8 carries for 9 yards. And Gemmel was also 6 of 10 for 26 yards. And Shante Perkins, 0 of 1 with an interception. And of course, Gemmel is out now for the rest of the game after being ejected following that brawl. There was not a there were 8 first downs for Hutchinson, 3 for Independence. Total offensive yards 242 for Hutch. Just 33 plays, 32 yards. That is not going to get done. You have just 32 yards of offense. You've actually run more plays than yardage, so that certainly making things awful tough on the Pirates. Hutchinson scored right away, 17 seconds into the ball game, a 63-yard touchdown pass from McKenzie to Cross, make it 7-0. Middleton then with a 10-yard run, a 32-yard run, and a 1-yard run. And that is where we stand right now, 27-0. And this has been the Medicine Shop halftime report. The Medicine Shop at 14th and Main and the Little White Castle for all of your pharmaceutical needs. Stay with us. A 2-minute timeout coming your way here at halftime, 27-0. Back in 2 minutes as our coverage of Blue Dragon football continues right after this. Right away, 17 seconds into the ball game, a 63-yard touchdown pass from McKenzie to Cross, making it 7-0. Middleton then with a 10-yard run, a 32-yard run, and a 1-yard run. And that is where we stand right now, 27-0. And this has been the Medicine Shop halftime report. The Medicine Shop at 14th and Main and the Little White Castle for all of your pharmaceutical needs. Stay with us. A 2-minute timeout coming your way here at halftime, 27-0. Back in 2 minutes as our coverage of Blue Dragon football continues right after this. 17 seconds into the ball game, a 63-yard touchdown pass from McKenzie to Cross, making 7-0.
My family likes camping.
Back at halftime, 27-0. It is a 3-4 touchdown lead for the Blue Dragons here at halftime, and things much calmer here now at the intermission than what they were a few moments ago. And you know, both coaches really working hard to try to make sure this just simply does not get out of hand, because there are still 30 minutes of football left to go. In case you're just joining us, about 1 minute left in the first half. Hutchinson with a turnover deep in their own territory. Independence got the ball back. Snap went back to the quarterback, Bryce Gemmel. He fumbled it, went down on his hands and knees to pick up the ball, and was then hit by a Hutchinson player. And then both benches, well, really, one bench emptied. The other one, the Blue Dragons, pretty much stayed put. And I say the bench emptied, and it really didn't. Independence came out on the field, but they were kind of just standing there. It was really basically about 6 or 7 players that were involved in what was a very ugly fight. 6 players getting ejected, 4 from Independence, 2 from Hutchinson, and hopefully things are going to calm down here now, and we'll get to play a second half of football. Sports Information Director Steve Carpenter alongside. Very busy weekend for Blue Dragon sports, starting last night with the Fairfield Indian Suites basketball tournament. That continues this afternoon with a couple of games, and then this evening the Blue Dragons both in action. So nice tournament, and nice couple of wins for the Blue Dragons last night. You got to take hands off to the girls. This is a young team that's going to have to learn an awful lot and learn it under the gun, and they responded pretty well yesterday.
They really did. They had an offensive nightmarish type of first half. They only had a couple of field goals first quarter, found themselves down by 16 very early in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, bang, they started making plays defensively, and then they had to overcome 3 post people fouling out. Right now, depth is a huge issue for John Onch's team, but somehow they found a way, got it done, beat number 18 NEO last night 65-61, and what was a huge win. And if the streak still stood, that would have been the 120th straight win in the sports arena. We still allude to it, but I officially can't call it a streak anymore.
No, you can't, and it's unfortunate. Some things have happened, and the team is doing a pretty good job of looking past all that. John and I have talked about it a couple of times, and it's over. And it's over, and it's done, and what is done, and now it's time to start concentrating on doing the best you can with the kids you have. And I don't mean to say that in a negative way, doing the best we can, because the 9 kids that are on the floor are pretty good. They're pretty good, especially a little point guard. She's going to be something really special. And, I just think they're just going to have to they're going to take their lumps. There's some teams that are pretty loaded this year in the Jayhawk Conference, especially Seward, and they're going to be playing for the first time in a long time. They're going to be playing a lot of basketball teams that are taller than they are.
They are, but if there's one thing I know about a John Onch's team, they're going to be the most mentally tough team out there, and they will lock you up defensively. And just those 2 factors keep you in games almost every night. So they're going to be battling every night. There's going to be nights it's not going to go their way. We kind of thought the way it started last night was going to be one of those nights, but they really finished strong. They get Labette tonight, a team that's 0-4. It should be a good test, and you just want this team to keep building.
It's a pretty decent 0-4 team. Let's get they're not that bad, but no. That turning to the man, of course, it was just a track meet. Zamaji Haynes-Jones. And we're just kind of tongue-in-cheek. If he learns to play some defense, he's going to be a really good basketball player, because he's got half of it figured out. Just figure out a little bit of the other half. That is a team that you can put a couple of kids 6'7" out there, and a couple of 6'4" kids, and Zamaji Haynes-Jones, and you can have a pretty stout team, and then throw a couple 6'9" kids in there too, for goodness sake.
If that team wants to hook it up, that's going to be a very special team to watch. I'm really excited to see how the men's team progresses this year. Big test tonight with NEO. And it doesn't stop yet. Tomorrow, Region 6 volleyball jumps into action. The number 1 seeded Blue Dragon women play Pratt at 2 o'clock. That's going to be a really good turn. Those should be 3 excellent matches with Hutch and Pratt, and then Cloud County and Seward County.
Yeah, Pratt very familiar with the Blue Dragon program, needless to say, and they have pressed the Dragons at times, so we'll see what happens. And talk about a team that's had to overcome a lot. We're talking about the women's basketball team right now. This just very young season, but look at the volleyball team. The flu swept through the team. They were decimated by injuries, key injuries. And didn't have make it sound like they had a lot. They didn't have a lot of them. It's the ones that happened were tough. But the illness that went through there, and that they went down to Colby with about half a squad and lost, and saw their 29-match win streak snapped at that time. But they've come back. I know Patrick Holland, talking to him, he's pretty confident that if they just come in here and play one game at a time and take care of business, are probably looking at another trip to nationals, which would be great.
If that team can pass well, they can run a very balanced attack. It's not just set in the middle with Petrosilic and Johanna Voss. It's not just the outside with Jai Chapman. It's not just the right side with Aubrey Wilson. Terrence Steeder and Aubrey who run the setters in the 5-2 can go pin to pin, and all that. If they read the blocks correctly, they can usually get their hitters singled up. Sure. And it's been a very balanced attack this year, and those two setters have done just a fantastic job.
Yeah, indeed, and the whole thing I think tomorrow, especially in the Pratt match, if they want to keep matching up well, because Pratt, in talking to Coach Hall, they're not a real set-up type team. They're a little more erratic, so to speak, a little more unpredictable, which doesn't suit too well for the Dragons, who are used to really defending good set plays and teams that run set formation, set plays. And so if there's one thing that they need to watch out for, that's probably it. But the other thing, like you said, if the Dragons pass well and the outside hitters take care of business, which has sometimes been a little bit erratic for them, and the outside hitting, if they get that, then they're probably going to be in pretty good shape tomorrow.
Well, Jai Chapman's been tremendous, especially the last month. She's hitting close to 280 over the last 15 matches. Last year, she was just a 125 hitter from the outside. This year, she's up in the 200s, and she's almost been, like I said, almost been hitting 300 over the last few weeks. So you get her, but they need somebody to come. When she goes back up, they need somebody to step up from that left side, and they ran a bunch of people out there, and hopefully you just get a hot hand out there to add to it, because what that does, if you can't swing from the left side, no matter what rotation you're in, they'll go single block on you, and the other team will be successful. They can double up the middle or the right side. So for Hutchinson, it's got to be a very balanced attack where the setters can throw to all three pins, and if they can do that, I like their chances tomorrow.
Of course, there's still one other postseason left to take care of, and that is the men's cross-country team is going to be making the trip up to Fort Dodge, Iowa next Thursday. They will run on Saturday at the NJCA National Meet. The first-year coach Justin Riggs taking a very young squad up there. Certainly, they're going to have an opportunity to run against some awfully good people.
You got to love what Justin's done with that guy's team this year. They knew what they had in Forrester, the only sophomore coming back, just a gutty, hard-nosed kid. But to bring Orsa Rodriguez, who has really opened up a lot of people's eyes around the country in his performances this year. Great 1-2 punch. I would love to see 3, 4, and 5 pack it in and get a little tighter than they have been. They potentially could be a top 15, top 20 team this year.
Well, they can, and it is going to come down to 3, 4, and 5 kids, and also keeping Orsa a little bit calm. Maybe he does tend to get a little bit. Kid loves to run. What can you say? He's going to be predominantly a 1,500-meter kid, 3,000-meter kid, maybe even an 800-meter kid. So yeah, he's got the speed. He tends to get out there, get a little bit amped, and everything. But great group of kids. So Steve, we appreciate you stopping by as always, and long night ahead, a long day tomorrow. So we'll let you get back to work and take care of business. Appreciate it. Thank you. Stay with us. We'll be back with the second half kickoff, 27-0. Our score at the intermission, and our coverage of Blue Dragons football continues following this 2-minute timeout.
Denim golf jeans, Voldemort. Yes, it says Voldemort. Doodads that scratch the wood like scratchy things, I should build a little house. A pretty morning. Wrist nub. Ocean dried up. Huh? Yeah, dried up. Friend? Never. Hey, hit my bones down there. I smell good. Is it pine? Timmy, I can't have it. Oh, yeah, just now sat on a gun. This is not a toy. Found the girlfriends for the Latin kid. What would you do if you went to Transylvania? Kill Dracula at once. That's what I would do immediately. I'm a nervous wreck. What? Shambone. Where's that owl? Blending in? What do you look like in your dream? Got a big afro and stuff, wooden leg and a weird eye. I wonder if there's a rodent out there. You tell us a little about your time as a secret agent? They hid me in Great Britain, and I didn't want to shoot the Russian guy pretending to be me because he had a kitty cat. Poppycock! Shortly, I came across a wooden stick, brought the golden staff to the village. Ooh, I like that girl up there. Wearing my glasses, I look like another man. I will sing for you when you beg me, and you will beg me. Mace Windu! A baby's a little man. A chair is somewhere to sit. Hey, just met Gramps, and he's driving us all out to dirt bike trails, and you can't ride. The ghost is near. Wait, what did he do? Crying inside of me. A half and a half ain't an apple. Eddie, I need you to cut my hair. Aunt Sharon got out again. Wait, Reggie Redfoot. I would not want to have a rap battle with Uncle Jimmy. I mean, that guy can blizzo. Eating a bunch of mustard balls. I'm gonna rest because I'm the best. My neighbor just had a cat party. I'll make a tri-legged minotaur, and we can go punch out those guys and face our phobia. Be like back in wood shop. I don't like you. Okay. I lend you sticky fingers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Independence, Kansas. Glenn Grunwald, Rod Zook, and again, it is halftime. We're just about to get the second half underway. 27-0. Blue Dragons on top. If you're not doing anything, go out to the sports arena tonight. Again, a great classic's going to take place. Good ball game tonight for the men's side. Rod and Steve just talked about it. Andy comes in. If you don't want to go to basketball tonight, tell you what, folks, take in the Follies. The Follies is down at Memorial Hall. Outstanding show, and just want to let you know that it is really, really, really a good show. So if you're not going to take on basketball, possibly stop in and take that. And then next week, come and take on basketball. Of course, the girls will be on the road down to Liberal, and the guys will be home. Actually, got a Tuesday game at Kansas at Brown Mackey that will be taking place. Tuesday game at Brown Mackey. So pay attention to that. We'll let you know. I think tip time is going to be 7:30. I'll find out for Steve Carper. I think they play their games at Kansas Wesleyan where Brown Mackey plays. It's going to be a 7 o'clock tip.
And if things were not odd enough in this season, Ellsworth leads Butler County at the half, 21-20.
Oh my goodness. 21-20 at halftime, huh?
I told there is not one thing that has been saying about this football season where it comes to this conference. Nothing has made sense. Normally, there's things that are just pretty structured. This hasn't been it.
All right.
Which has made it fun at times, but it's also made it very frustrating.
We will keep track of that. Thank you very much for passing that along. Where's Steve Carpenter providing that as well.
By the way, Dodge City at halftime, leading Highland 15-13.
All right, Dodge City. And that was for a share of the conference championship.
It absolutely is. That Dodge, okay, that's like I just said. Dodge City and Highland Conference Championship. I don't think I've ever heard that before. That's never collided in the same sentence at any time. So it has, as said, it's been fun, but it has also been, need to say, frustrating for some people as well.
All right, kickoff's going to be by the Blue Dragons, right to left as you watch and listen. As
deep breath, everybody.
Back deep for Independence Pirates. 27-0. Dragons on top, and here we get set to go with the kickoff to start this second half of play. And it's going to be a little pooch kick. It's going to be taken by an up man at the 40 and carries the forward to about the 45-yard line. They'll stop play there. 1st and 10 for the Pirates on their own 45.
And that was Cole Greenwood again. That's 2 for him.
It's got to get used to catching up.
Before the half, the coaches were out there with all the officials meeting in the center of the field, talking things over, and that was even a little bit animated at times, and hopefully things are going to stay, well, calm for a football game, but cooler heads will prevail here the rest
Near
of the way.
halftime, by the way, Coffeyville leading Garden City 29-21 in football action. Yeah, with 40 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Gibb straight up the middle. Collins with the carry. Nice run play. Whips his way out to about the Dragon 46-yard line. Picks up positive yardage, second and a short now. So quick opener for Collins.
Yeah, Collins just taking it right off the right tackle, able to squirt free, and he was a couple of steps from getting even more yardage, just kind of tripped up right at the 50 and falls ahead to the 46.
All right.
Remember, at quarterback now, this is Jonte Perkins.
And timeout's going to be taken. So a timeout's going to be taken with 14:37 to go in this third quarter play. What a quick timeout we're going to keep it here just right after the halftime break that we took. And so Independence, I believe, called the timeout, want to talk things over. That's a rarity.
Well, and that's just 23 seconds into the half and one play, and not entirely sure what that was about, but they brought them to the sidelines here, and they're going to talk some things over.
Trying to check and see. I'm not sure what they saw, and if they offensively they didn't like what they saw, but they just burned a timeout. So second down and 1 yard to go. Ball's on the 46 of the Dragons, so a key play right here for Indy, and maybe Jonte Perkins with him being a different quarterback since Gimmel was kicked out in the contest. By the way, Gimmel is a freshman, so that'll carry over to next year as well. All right, here we go. Quarterback sneak.
Yeah, the ball never got snapped. And that is tough on the Independence because they were facing just a second one. It's 2nd and 6 now. The ball on the other side of the 50-yard line again to the 49.
So they'll back it up, as Rod indicated. They'll put it at the Pirate 49-yard line. Glenn Grunwald, Rod Zick, along with Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director for Hutchins Community College. Rod, our news director, pressed and appreciate him filling in for me last night with basketball action, so glad to have him along today. To give a little draw play, Collins works his way forward. Dragons stop him, but not until he picked up about 2, maybe 3 yards.
So Collins was trapped in the backfield, but he was able to squirm away from Morrow and race up ahead and got most of the yardage back from the penalty, but it's still 3rd and 2.
All right, 3rd down and 2. Key 3rd down play right here. And again, I'm gun shy after last week. Rod Zook, as the Dragons let that 35-point lead get away from them. And here they lead them at 27-0, and Independence now inside of Blue Dragon territory. 3rd down and 2, key play here. 3rd down and 2, they give. Perkins gives to Collins. He has the first down, and he stopped immediately across the 45, then falls forward to a 44-yard line. Pickup of a first down.
That was Jalen Cooks able to come up and make the tackle, but not before a 3-yard gain. The Pirates, pretty much like they did with their first possession to start the ball game, just taking it right down the field.
Yeah, they had a solid first possession to start this ball game and drove it all the way down to the 16-yard line when they saw their dry stall after a 7-yard loss on a sack by the Blue Dragons. Right here, full house backfield now. 1st and 10 at the Dragon, 44-yard line for the Pirates. Perkins gives it off to the running backs. Second one through him. Big hitter right there. Stop was made. I think that might have been Batten on the call, a carry again. Collins had carried. Nope. Yeah, it was Batten.
We haven't seen Batten for a while. But
we haven't. That was Collins on the carry.
9 for the Pirates.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Pirates. Pickup of 1. Collins, by the way, Rod talked about it. He's out of Coffeyville, Kansas.
Yeah, Batten was
ejected. You're right.
He was one of the players that was thrown out. There were 4 Independence players, 2 linemen, the quarterback, and a running back that were ejected from the game.
So now another new face in the lineup. That's Matt Cookson out there. He's out of Salina. Cookson gets the football, carries forward, pick up a 3, maybe 4 yards on the carry.
Cookson on the carry for the Pirates.
Probably one of the long list of running backs from Salina Central. They always have, seems like 4 or 5 of them every year in high school, and he's one of that group.
Didn't maybe have the year that they thought they would have this year. 3rd down and I'm going to say 8 now facing the Pirates. They converted on the last 3rd down play. Cookson will remain in there. Brandon Smith splits out wide out on the left side. He's out of Augusta. They go with Deuces on the left and a single receiver on the right side. Perkins, the quarterback. He got all new personnel in there. Back to passes Perkins. He throws it across, and the tip play might have got a finger on it. Nice defensive play made by Ron M. Bingham. Might have got a hand on it and deflected that pass away.
Not sure who that was intended for. Because Independence had 2 out there. Like you said, they had splits out to the left side, and it kind of went right in between both of them.
I think it might have been Holsey. He was the nearest receiver out there. So 4th down now. 4th down punting situation. Football on the Dragon 42-yard line. Indy will punt it away. Collins back in deep punt formation. Back for the Blue Dragons. Normally it's Bowman, and Bowman is back there. High punt, and it's going to be hit right out of bounds at the 35. It's going to be marked back upfield a little bit. The line judge right there. It's going to be right around the 42, 41-yard line.
Is a 6-yard.
Whoa. You're right.
6 yards. It went straight up in the air. The Dragons.
4 yards. 4 yards punt. All right.
I was trying to be nice. Give him 6.
A good buddy back at Hutchinson, Paul Allen, that used to puff the Salthawks back in 1986. I'm going to date him. He had a -5 one time into the wind.
That looked like a Rusty Hill sandwich.
Think it was? I think Rusty has a better sandwich than that one. A 4-yard punt by Collins, shanked it right side. And it is Blue Dragon football, 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line. So the Dragons will set up shot. They'll set a man in motion. And the give in the backfield is going to be again to the Blue Dragons at Middleton. He rolls his way forward up to the 45-yard line. Nice pickup of 8 on the play for Blake Middleton, who's having an outstanding ball game.
Yeah, it looks like we have another injured player. This could be Cameron Durant, cornerback. As he gets up hobbling.
He's going to stay in the ball game. The Dragons will set Middleton in the back. They'll get Blackburn out of the contest. Checking in will be Parra, so they'll put Parra at this tight end slot on the right side. They've got Cross on our near side, lower part of your screen if you're watching the Blue Dragon Sports Network. There's a delay to give to Middleton. He's wrapped up right away, gain of a yard on the play. Third down and 2.
Coming up to make the tackle quickly is Jeffress, but Middleton able to get some good yardage there. And the Dragons facing a third, as you said, just inside 2 yards.
Yep, 3rd and 2. As we get set. All right, here's the snap. McKenzie to give again to middle. The 1st and 10, he's got more. Keeps his balance. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20, all the way down, and he's wrapped up at the 8-yard line. How about that for a run for Blake Middleton?
And again, just smoking down that field. Nobody able to catch him, and he is finally corralled by Marquise Johnson, who saved what looked like a certain touchdown.
Well, Middleton now over 100 yards. He had 81 at halftime. 134 are the numbers for Blake Middleton. And they'll mark that one right at the 9. Blake Middleton on the carry. Carries forward to about the 6-yard line. They'll stop his forward progress, probably closer to the 7. As he was knocked back just a little bit. We'll see where they formally mark the football.
Hold your breath, because there was just about a little more shoving right there.
There's going to be some chippiness.
Do not need any more of what we had.
It's not like you and I in the newsroom sometimes, huh? Especially when Fred's in a bad mood. All right, let's see where they mark it.
I think
we have a penalty. We do have a penalty.
Yep, false start before we can even get things going. So the Dragons are going to be backed up a few yards.
All right, let's see where they mark it officially.
Or check that
14. So 1st and 10 from the 14-yard line. Yeah, actually, it's a 1st and goal from the 14. Back to pass. McKenzie has time, goes right side, close to the hole. Finally flings it away, and out of bounds, incomplete pass.
I don't know if he was out of the hash marks or not. I hope he was. He was pretty much scrambling for his life, able to just get that away. No flag, so obviously just an incomplete pass.
The Independence Pirates fan wanted a hold on that right side. It was darn close.
Yeah.
Brings up 2nd down.
2nd down and 10 now, or 2nd and goal, I should say, from the 14-yard line for the Blue Dragons. They'll send trips to the right side. And Cross is over on the left wing. McKenzie looks to the bench. McKenzie along with Middleton. Middleton's played a lot today. Good to see that. So here comes the snap. McKenzie, deep corner left. And it's touchdown. All right. Did not see the indication. I'm blocked out here. So Cross with the catch.
Yeah, Cross doing a nice job just over the top of the defender, Johnson. Gets the touchdown.
Comes at 10:09 to go in his 3rd quarter. Sorry about that, folks, as I am blocked out. This is a great stadium and a great press box, but I could not see that far left corner of our end zone. And so it's 33-0 now. Blue Dragons on top, trying to make it 34. is the try for the point after. Kick is on its way. It is up, and it is good. And 34-0, Hutchinson on top. 10:09 to go in this third quarter of play. We'll be back for the Hutch kickoff right after this.
Doing a nice job just over the top of the
Today's Johnson Chiropractic Cheerleaders of the Week. Sophomore Gunnar Wiles from Gibson, Kansas. Sophomore Paige Knight from Salina, Kansas.
So it's 33-0 now. Blue Dragons on top, trying to make it 34.
Today's Knoll Chiropractic Athletic Trainer of the Week. Sophomore Malachi Newman.
Well, the 14-yard catch for the touchdown by Cross as he comes up with his second touchdown of the day. So we've had 3 from Middleton and 2 from Cross. Nice job by McKenzie to throw for both of them and Rod Zook. Here we are leading it 34-0 with 10:09 to go in this third quarter.
I know, I'm going to tell you, just going to say this now. I know Coach Ryan Rhodes would not try to pile up the score on any team. But after last week, you got to think the Dragons are just going to squeeze on the accelerator a little bit harder for a little bit longer than they might have last week. And if they can keep scoring, they're probably going to keep scoring.
I have a final in from Notre Dame. Notre Dame 42, Pitt 30. A big win for number 5, Notre Dame. Also, Northwestern came from behind to beat Penn State on a field goal, 23-21. Here's the kickoff for the Dragons, taken by the Pirates up to the 30-yard line. Stop made there. And Independence Pirates was set up 1st and 10 after Dwayne Smith returned it to the 30-yard line. And Dwayne finally caught a ball without a hit him in the head.
I was going to say, he's just glad he didn't get hit in the noggin with the football.
Well, Minnesota and Ohio State tonight is going to be a big ball game. Minnesota at 4-4, Ohio State at 8-0, number 3 in the nation.
Well, and Minnesota playing with a lot of emotion, of course, after last week, the events that have happened up there. So,
yeah, tough loss to Michigan. Boy, that was a tough loss. Stanford right away on top of Colorado, 42-0. That's in the fourth quarter.
That's good to see.
All right, here we go here. Independence Pirates. Perkins, the quarterback. The turn to give to Collins. Collins across the 30 up to about the 35-yard line as he just rolls to the right side. Collins, the main back tonight for Pirates, especially since Batten was kicked out of the ballgame with that ruckus in the first half of play.
Collins has been running the ball well
in the second half. Nice pickup, 7-8 yards on that. I'll give him officially about 6. Second and 4 now. Second and 4 for the Pirates. 9:34 to go in quarter number 3. Glad to have you along this afternoon. Gorgeous day down here in Independence. Hope it's nice where you're listening and watching as well. All right, Perkins spins, gives to Collins again, carries forward up to about the 37-yard line. Stop there. Whole host of Hutchinson players coming up to make a little bit of a stop with Jalen Cooks to help out. He's out of Blue Valley Stillwell, by the way. Hey, don't forget, join me on BW on Monday night. We'll be talking probably with Steve Warner, who's Buda Crusaders. We're able to get it going in the second half to win over Mulvane. We'll chat with him, and also we'll talk with Gino Grissom from the New England Patriots. Gino, former Salt Hawk. Chat with Gino for a little bit on Monday night. I was able to catch an interview with him just the other day. They take on the Redskins tomorrow. Patriots undefeated again. Back to give to Collins. Collins off tackle, left side. And wrapping him up for the stop out there is number 24, Colby Turner's in there. Got the stop.
Colby getting a chance to put in a few minutes here. Two former Hutchinson residents in the NFL. The other one,
Ben Hinney.
Ben Hinney, playing linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, who are having a respectable season.
They really are.
By Raiders standards, as you compare to the last several years.
All right, now the Pirates come out. Perkins along with Collins in the backfield. Also, again, still in there is McDonald, his fullback. He gives to Collins, and he churns his way forward. He's going to be the go-to guy across the 45 up to the 46.5 yards line, about mark it right at the 46. Second down and 5 now facing Independence.
You know, there is one thing about this. Yes, they are moving the ball, but they're also eating a lot of time up on the clock.
Yeah,
There's just 7:50 to go in the third quarter, and you're down 6 touchdowns.
All right. Colby probably came in for Kyle Wilson, who was ejected with the melee in the first half of play.
I said 6, 5 touchdowns. I try not to do math in public.
It's something I don't do either. There's a give to a different back, and a back has a first down and more. Running it was Edwin Thomas And Thomas with a nice carry. He's out of Fort Pierce, Florida, and he carried it to Blue Dragon territory all the way to the 35, first and 10 Pirates.
Now, he'd been playing the slot in the slot wideout for the Pirates, and this time taking the ball for a nice gain.
Both these teams not going anywhere in the postseason. Both teams in the tied for 5th place with a 2-4 record, along with Garden City. So this one is totally for pride, and try to go out with the win in the final season game. All right, Perkins still the quarterback for Indy. Back to delay. This one again. The ball carries Thomas as they give Collins a little bit of a break. Little or no gain on the play. I think they'll mark it right back at the 35-yard line. Still 2nd down and 10 now from the Blue Dragon 35.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
For a nice gain.
All right, those are the football right on the 35. Both teams, Blue Dragons, Summer still in there, Webb still in that defensive line along with Cooks. Dragons defense, always stellar. Offense sputtered quite a bit this year. Trying to get it going today, and so far they have. Come off that Garden City game where you had 4 running backs with over 100 yards. Here's Perkins for Independence. The turn, he's loose. Dragons trying to get to him. Now they'll throw it upfield, and it's just about picked off. Incomplete pass is going to be called.
And we're going to have roughing the passer. We're going to have roughing the passer. No, the Dragons bringing the corner blitz, but yeah, I think it's just. I think we're gonna have roughing the passer. Or holy boy, big break. It looked like it was going against the Dragons, but it's not.
It looked like a broken play when it started because he turns to hand it off and there's nobody there, and in came the Blue Dragons and they were after him, and he got the pass away. The hold's going to be called, and what are they going to whistle here? What are they going to?
I believe it was at least Fight, who was coming in from the corner, and I mean he was untouched. And
only will be enforced.
It will be enforced. So mark it back. They'll mark it right at the 45-yard line. So 2nd down and 20 now facing Independence. Dragons feel like their defense right now, playing as well as they are, can take a chance here. Normally it would have been a 3rd down, and now it would have been a 3rd down and 10. Now it's a 2nd down and 20. So they'll go with Thomas, the setback in the backside. Perkins still the quarterback. Gives it off to Thomas. Thomas trying to find his way back. He gets 5 of those yards back and carries it down to the 40-yard line. 3rd down and 15 now facing the Pirates of Independence. And Summers gets up a little gingerly, and he's holding aside. He'll check out into the Blue Dragon lineup. Come in, speak J.J. Holmes.
Isn't it play here right now where you know the Dragons is going to put 3 down linemen, try to put as much pressure on the ball as possible, set everybody else back, and just keep the Pirates away from the 25-yard line.
2nd down and 20. All right, timeout's going to be taken. Things weren't set defensively like Coach wanted them to, and a timeout's going to be taken. So Hutchinson will call the timeout. 5:52 to go in the 3rd period of play. 34-0. Hutchinson on top. We'll be back with more from Independence in a half minute.
Membership forms can be picked up at the concession stand. For all the latest information and events at ICC, check out our website at www.ndcc.edu. And a special thanks to our 2015-16 Pirate corporate sponsors: Great Western Dining, CPR Pest Management, Speedo's Industrial Supply, GLC Groundskeeping, Quality Toyota, H&R Block, SCK Construction.
Well, 5:52 to go in this 3rd period of play. It's the Blue Dragons 34 and the Independence Pirates 0. Indy kind of knocking on the door, but they face a key 3rd down and 15 call from the Blue Dragon 40-yard line. The Blue Dragons starting to really show their muscles on defense.
Well, they have been, Independence had that first drive down the field, and they got all the way down inside the 20-yard line facing a 4th and 1. Dragons getting a sack on 4th and 1, and since then Independence hasn't been able to get anything generated. They are using their 2nd-string quarterback, Jonte Perkins, who is a sophomore. But they're just not able to get anything going right now. And this is a big play for the Dragons, 3rd and 15.
Yeah, if you just tuned in, they had some ejections in the first half. And there's Collins is going nowhere. He was spun back. Great stop by the Dragons. Loss of about 4 on the play.
Jalen Cooks just blew that play up. He was in the backfield waiting before the handoff was even taken, and throws him for a 3-yard loss. been able to get anything generated.
So it will be punt time for Independence.
Perkins, who is a sophomore.
And Collins will step back and punt. Collins all of a sudden today has gotten really busy. He's gotten super busy.
Yeah, if you just tuned in, they had some
All right, here we get set. Collins gets set to punt it away, and he gets it away.
Wait, it was almost blocked.
Bowman's going to let it roll, and it's going to be a good one. It's going to go all the way down to the 2-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Blue Dragons from the 2. How about that one?
Well, he had a chance to pin the Dragons back before, but one of his teammates ended up having 2 feet sitting in the end zone, or standing in the end zone when he touched the ball, and it was a touchback. Otherwise, he'd have pinned the Dragons back on about the 1-foot line earlier in the first half.
All right. Now, this game won't count for the Jayhawk Conference, but Ellsworth leads 30-21 right now over Butler. So what it will count is in the final rankings. Butler right now is number 4 in the nation, and we kind of eyed them for maybe a Butler Snow matchup in the Salt City Bowl. That's what some unofficially people were talking about. And wow, they're going to have to rally back on that one. And that is up in Ellsworth. They're playing under home field up in Iowa. All right, here we get set. Blue Dragons have the ball. 5 minutes to go in this third period of play on their own 2-yard line. Snap, control, gives to the running back. First man through and carries forward. Gets some running room across the 5. Officially marked at about the 6-yard line. He was carrying the ball.
Right, hold your breath, because that snap was wide to one side, and McKenzie did a great job to corral it, because that could have easily shot by him. And remember, that was a snap back into their own end zone.
All right, McKenzie gets set, gets the snap again to give to Middleton. Middleton wrapped up, flag on the play, and it's going to be right down in front of an official, right at the 20-yard line, right in front, actually, of Independence head coach.
15 yards away from the ball on a run. The receiver and cornerback get tangled up.
And he comes in, they'll make the call.
Hold your breath, because that snap was wide.
Middleton's carry went for little or no yards, picked up maybe a couple.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, sideline interference.
Sideline interference is going to be called.
Automatic, first down.
So an automatic first down. You hardly ever see that call. So sideline interference against Independence.
I didn't see anything. There was a cornerback and a receiver for the Blue Dragons tangled up at about the 25.
Well, they must have called it against one of the Indy players on the sideline. So now automatic first down for the Blue Dragons. They'll set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Snap comes back to Dominic. There's a give to Middleton. Middleton across the 30, up to the 35, to the 40, across the 50, down to inside of Pirates territory. He's going to angle to the left side and finally be ran out of bounds at the 10-yard line. What a job by Blake Middleton.
That puts him over 200 yards for the day. He has had a great afternoon.
It's going to be closer than the 10. Again, that's that corner that I get sealed off
like about
on.
the 7.
Yep. 71-yard carry. They're going to mark it right at the 7-yard line. So Blake Middleton putting on a show. 18 for 210 is what Steve Carpenter says. So 210 yards for Blake Middleton on 18 totes, 3 touchdowns, 4:09 to go in the third period of play. He is having a great collegiate day today.
Griffin is in to spell him after that long run.
Man, let him carry it a little bit closer and get him back in there. He's got 3 TDs on the day. There's a give to Griffin, straight up the middle to about the 5. Forward progress right around the 5-yard line. Actually, they say little or no gain. He'll come back in, mark it at the 7. So I was being kind to Trey Griffin. It was a good move of his own. 5'9", 174-pound running back out of Wichita Southeast High School.
Second goal for the Blue Dragons.
Second and goal for Hutchinson. Big guys up front trying to get it done. Stallings the center. Got Owen on the right side. Big number 75 for the Blue Dragons, Adrian Flagg out of Marietta, Louisiana. Ball thrown across, incomplete pass, falls aimlessly at the 5-yard line, incomplete pass.
Well, that was just going to be a screen. They opened up the floodgates and just let the defense come in, but McKenzie, I don't think McKenzie threw it bad. I think Griffin gave up on it, so the ball just sailed right over his head.
All right, we don't have Boston Hornets here anymore, but we did have a huge fly just came in. Actually, it's the Ladybug. See ya. There it goes. They're flipping it away. All right, here we go. Third down and goal from the 7. for the Blue Dragons. Blake Middleton back in that backfield again. Dominique wants to throw it, goes right side. McKenzie trying to get it to cross. Incomplete pass. 4th down's the call.
Yeah, the nice defensive play there by Kawan Daniels, who was burned on that first play of the game by Cross.
Yep, it was Cross.
He tipped the ball up in the air, and Cross was there very opportunistically to haul it in and take it 67 yards.
4th down and goal now for the Blue Dragons on the 7-yard line. This is a situation where the low snap picked up by McKenzie, and they're going to blow the play down.
Cross took off way early, and this is going back. I mean, he was to the 5-yard line before the ball was snapped, and we're standing back at the 7 or 8. So
false start.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty.
And a big time false start. Now do you kick the field goal?
I think you really almost have to.
So 4th down from the 13 or 12-yard line, excuse me, from the 12.
Going to be about 29 yards into the wind.
All right, here we get set. The hole will be right at the 19. So correct on the 29 here. Is the hold. The kick is on its way. It is up, and it is no good. So taking over on downs, or taking over with the missed field goal, will be the Pirates right at the 14-yard line. 3:13 to go in this third period. 34-0. Blue Dragons with the lead. Again, we're keeping our eyes on some of the other scores. Dodge City in the third quarter leading Highland 23-20. Ellsworth 30-21 over Butler Community College. That one's up in Iowa being played. And Garden City trailing Coffeyville 29-21. Close to the halftime.
I want to remind you when we have a moment going out to the sports arena tonight and tomorrow. Basketball tonight, Region 6 volleyball tomorrow. Going out there and take part in that this evening. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
All right, here's the play. For the Pirates, they roll it forward. It's Collins. He's starting to get tired. You can kind of tell he's starting to grab the hips as soon as he gets up.
But again, like you said, he's big by weight. He's 200 pounds, but he's only about 5'8". And he's been pretty much the workload for the Pirates here in the second half.
Dodge City now just scored a touchdown to take a 30-20 lead over Highland with 8:04 to go in the third period of play. Here the Pirates face a 2nd down and 6. Give up the middle. Across the 24 to the 25-yard line goes Collins. Pick up maybe a couple on the play. 2nd down, 3rd down and 5 facing the Pirates of Independence.
Independence just needing to find something here. You know, they have not thrown the football. They've only tried a couple of times, and Blue Dragons playing that 34 defense, just setting everybody back, covering just about everything they can, and just not giving Independence any place to go.
2nd down and 6. All right, now here we get set. Pirates, Perkins, the leg, gives the Collins across the 25, trying to angle to his left side, gets across the 26 to the 27-yard line. Short of the 1st down. Let's see where the final mark is going to be. It is going to be a 1st down. They'll give it to him at the 30. Yeah, he kept turning away.
He was hit right about the 27, like you said, but was able to just dive ahead. And just squirm enough yardage out of there to get the 1st down. Pirates move the chains to the 30-yard line.
Collins starting to get some yardage.
Just not giving Independence any place to go.
On rushing, first half of play. Yeah, 20 for 58 yards. That's one of his better runs right there. 1st and 10 for the Pirates from their own 30-yard line. Perkins, the quarterback, after Gimmel was kicked out due to the fight that took place in the first half of play. Little or no gain, actually about a loss of a yard on the play. 2nd down, 11 now.
Yeah, Terrence Stummers making the tackle there, filling up the hole in a hurry and making the stop for a loss of 1.
1:02 to go in this third period of play. And the way the Pirates are playing him, possibly because I'm not sure about Perkins' throwing ability, it just kind of makes this where they got to run the football.
Well, he's 0 for 1 with an interception.
Yeah.
So
kind of limits what you can do.
Pretty much says it all.
Glenn Grunwald, Rod Zook, along with Steve Carpenter. Glad to have you along on the Blue Dragon Sports Network, as well as Country 102.9 KHUT Eagle Communications today. Throw across the middle. Catch is made at the 35. Then he dropped it.
Right idea, but
Pass
is dropped.
Perkins incomplete.
Nice job by Shamley to come in and break up that.
Check that. There's
Ambler
was the intended receiver for Independence.
Third down and 11, facing the Pirates. Ball on the 29-yard line. They're Pirates' own 29-yard line. Rusty Hills with the call basketball-wise tonight at the guys' game at 7:30. Girls play ahead of that at 5:30. Catch that action on the Blue Dragon Sports Network. Ball across the middle, picked off by the Blue Dragons. The interception is made. Coming up with it will be Tomlin. He'll take it around the left side, trying to get out of bounds. He finally will be knocked out of bounds at about the 10-yard line.
Oh, he threw it right into triple coverage, and Tomlin right there jumped the route, just stepped he was about 3/4 of the way down the route on that pass and stepped right in front of it and stole it away.
Third pick of the day for the Blue Dragons. And that's something in the early part of the season Hutchison was not doing. They weren't forcing the turnovers. That was going to be marked at the 12-yard line. Something in the last couple of days they finally have. 22 ticks left on the clock in this third period of play. Dragons set up shop now. First and 10 on the 12. So first and 10 Hutchison on the Independence 12-yard line. Nice pick out there by Tomlin. Linebacker out of Marietta, Georgia. Here's Don McKenzie. Keeps it himself, tries to get away from a on-rushing defender, and finally gets back, maybe gains a yard out of it. Brings up the third down. Second down and 10 from the 11-yard line.
As Kevin Benton on the tackle, he did a great job of staying at home and not letting McKenzie get free.
And that's your quarter mark. After 3, Blue Dragons 34, Independence nothing. Dragons knocking on the door. Second down and 10 coming their way. When we return in 1 minute.
Pirates 0. The fourth quarter is brought to you by Derail Commodity, your local furniture store.
The fourth and final period of play. Dragons on top, 34-0. Glenn Grunwald along with Rod Zook, Steve Carpenter, glad to have you along at Independence. Brand new press box, brand new field, good looking field. And Hutchison leading at 34-0 in the last football game of the year. Keeping our eyes on the Jayhawk Conference scoring as Grizzlies still trail it to Ellsworth, 30-21. Now that one in the third quarter of play. Also Dodge City starting to put it on Highland, 30-20. The left side jump run in a touchdown for, is it Middleton again?
It is.
And that's his fourth. Middleton with the run for the touchdown. From 11 yards out.
Giving Middleton 221 yards today.
Can you say won the ball game? Yes, you can.
It's been special.
4 touchdowns for Blake Middleton. Well, you just take your pick right there. He scored for 10, from 32, from 1, and now from 11. Point after kick forthcoming. Here's the hold. Here is the kick. It is up and on its way, and it is good. Your score with 14:53 to go in this fourth period. It's Hutchison 41, Independence 0. 32nd timeout. We are ready to Blue Dragon kickoff right after this.
121 yards today.
Can you say football game? Yes, you can. It's been
Special.
4 touchdowns for Blake Middleton. Well, you just take your pick right there. He scored for 10, from 32, from 1, and now from 11. Point after kick forthcoming. Here's the hold. Here is the kick. It is up and on its way, and it is good. Your score with 14:53 to go in this fourth period. It's Hutchinson 41, Independence 0.
Well, 41-0. Blue Dragons with the lead. You going to call it? You got to call it, Ron Zick?
No, I'm not going to say it.
I think I will. I think this one is safe.
I think we're in some semblance of control.
And give credit when credit's due. Blue Dragons have played well today.
Yeah,
they really have.
They've been pretty solid. There were a couple of the penalties in the first half that had kind of blown things up for them in other games, but for the most part, other than our little skirmish we had, they've really played pretty well, especially on the defensive side.
All right, here comes the kickoff, and it's going to let this one sail, and it's going to sail. It squibbed all the other ones, picked up at the 1, and it's going to be taken by the Pirates. They'll dance around back there, and they won't get anywhere. They're going to drop him at the 5-yard line.
Well, that was Ambler, went right over his head. He was standing at about the 20. He had to sprint back to get that, and then it just died like a punt at about the 3.
You think he thought they were going to squib it again?
One thing, when it went over his head, I think he would have bet the farm that it was going to go into the end zone, and it just seized up at about the 2, and so he had to pick it up and start running with it and had nowhere to go.
All right, so with the football will be Independence. They'll have a 1st and 10. They're going to mark it officially at the 7-yard line. So 1st and 10 at the 7 for Independence. They trail at 41-0. Perkins, the quarterback, in there. It has been in there since the second quarter of play, of which when Gimmel was kicked out of the contest along with 3 other Pirates. There's a give up the middle. Quick opener, and they're off to the races. The runner on the left side, that's Collins, and trying to get out of bounds, and he will. It's inside of Blue Dragons territory. Biggest gainer of the day for Independence.
Yeah, Shanley able to run him out of bounds, but a nice run by Collins as he just... The offensive line just blew a big hole open, and he was able to score through for big yardage.
Marking at the 48. So from the 7 to the 48, a 45-yard tote by Collins. And they're inside of Blue Dragon territory at the 48-yard line. So 1st and 10 Pirates now. A little bit of life for the Pirates. Again, Collins out of Coffeyville, Kansas, sophomore running back. Had 245 yards coming into this one. The turn to give to up back, and it's going to be Edwin Thomas, and he carries forward for a pickup of a couple. Fort Pierce, Florida native. He is a freshman. Give him 2, 2nd down and 8. Nose of the football on the 46.
One other thing they have here that they not have before is they have a video screen here too.
They sure do. Got a brand new scoreboard down at the end. That's investment by the folks of Independence to put this forward. High school plays the ball here. There's a drive up the middle, and it's going to be given to Thomas. Gain of maybe 1 on a play. Close to the 45. They'll mark it closer to the 46. 3rd down and call coming up here. 3rd down and 8.
One thing about this, you get to a game like this, and I know it's the last game of the season, but if you're a football player as long a year as has been and the way things have turned out, you like for this thing, you like to play well, and you like for it to get over with, get back home, and get things taken care of at that end.
A lot of kids will be moving on at the end of December break. All these sophomores, they try to get any more. You try to bring them in early, a couple summer schools, and get them out of here in December. There's a stop made in the backfield, and Thomas just got upended. Big stop out there, number 31.
Bingham just tore him up.
I mean, he upended him right at midfield. They're going to mark his forward progress at the 49. 4th down, 11, punt situation for Indy. What I'm trying to say is they get them out of here so they can get into their next schools in time for spring ball. Yeah,
spring football.
It's an important thing. Kids start to mess around, mess up a couple classes too. Anymore, they take them some of them online and try to keep things clean. Here's the punt. They got it away. Just about contact made. Heck of a punt. It's going to bounce the 10. It's take an Indy roll, and they're going to mark it all the way down to the 2-yard line.
That is 3 times now he has been able to, the 2 of them have worked. One of them just got into the end zone, but that is some nice kicks.
Arnold along with Johnson was trying to get in there to get a hand on it. Darn near got there.
First down from their own 2-yard line.
Well, Dragons need to go ahead and just.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Someone's being brought to my attention. Just need to go out and just get this clock running.
Well,
and,
get it running.
Get out of here.
2, but you got to run it. Be safe with it now. Give it to Middleton. Give it to one of your up backs. Going up the middle's kind of been tough, but Middleton is back in there. So.
Not even going out of the shotgun this time. They're going from under center, which they didn't the last time they were pinned down.
Here's the give to Middleton, and he gets just as soon as he got the ball, somebody grabbed him and he carried it forward for maybe about a yard. Pick up about 1 on the play. His helmet was ripped off. Let's see if he's okay.
That's Quadavius Battle, who
he's
made the
forehead a little bit.
Helmet off, number 32.
Battle making the tackle. Of course, Middleton will have to come out.
Since his helmet came off and he's helped off, but he still has to come out of the contest. And back in there now will be Trey Griffin. Trey out of Wichita Southeast High School freshman. Tell you what, these 2 return. You got a pretty good tandem there in the running back position. And then you toss on Trey King, who's also a freshman tailback out of Wichita. He's out of the Heights. You got 3 good running backs. There's a give to Trey Griffin. He turns forward, just about busted loose. Gets his way up to across the 5, up to about the 7-yard line. Nice carry by Trey Griffin. This brings up a manageable 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, it does. And forgive me, almost said 18-yard line, but that would be the top of the soccer box. So it's painted on the field.
The only thing that the visiting radio had, we're right at the 45-yard line, but when you look at that deep left corner, I got a post in my way to my left side. It gets a little tough, but not as bad as Steve Carpenter. I know it is out in Colorado Springs where you got to twist your head around the corner to even get half the field in your view. Here's the give, little delay. McKenzie gives it off to Griffin. He's got some running room. He's across the 20, up to the 25, the 30-yard line. Angles to the sideline, knocked out of bounds at about the 41. Nice run by Trey Griffin to blow that baby open. And now you got good field position with a good first down, 2 set of downs. And with 11-11 remaining to go in this 4th period, you're in shop setting it up at the 40-yard line.
Well, Independence just clogged up the middle. Everybody committed to the middle, and he was Griffin able to bounce it to the outside. And once he got outside, had a lot of running room.
5'9", 174 yards, and he picks up a 31-yard carry. Here to give again, Griffin around the right side this time. Nice across the 40, up to, stretches his body up to the 41. They'll say his knee hit at the 40. Little or no gain.
Now Starlin Driver making the tackle for Independence.
You got good field position.
So 2nd down and 10 now, the call for the Blue Dragons of Hutchinson. Ryan Rhodes in his 9th season. Hutchinson 4-6, trying to finish at 5-6. Disappointing year, but still trying to go out with a win. Bowman in motion. The turn to give up the middle. Straight up the middle is Griffin. Again, he's across the 50 to the 45, and the angle's down to the 43-yard line before he's finally wrapped up. Emu was able to hang on to him and drop him right there after Trey Griffin carried him the last 5 yards or so. First down, Dragons.
Griffin blasts through the first line of defense and then juked a couple of linebackers and then was in the open field. Nice hard running.
1st and 10 from the 42, the Pirate 42 for the Dragons. Griffin remains back there. And 6 carries for 85 yards. Thank you, Steve Carpenter. We got an up back, a fullback position. There's a give to Griffin around on the left side. Brandon Blackburn set up in that fullback slot.
I mean, he has been for a lot of the ball.
How'd you like to have somebody in front of you blocking that's like 304 pounds?
Sure. All right. Of course, Baylor lets one of their linemen run the football, and he weighs in excess of 400 pounds. So
2nd down and 9 facing Hutchinson. Ball on the 41-yard line. All that to pick up a 1.
As much as he's had to do that, you ought to let him run the football once.
Back to the old fridge, refrigerator Perry from the Chicago Bears. All right, 2nd down and 9. McKenzie swings it out. The catch is made. Griffin loses yardage. Well, they had that one read.
Yeah, nice defensive play there made by Cameron Durant from Tulsa, Oklahoma, with the Booker T. Washington High School. Had that play well read. Nice open field tackle.
So this will set up a 3rd down and 12 call for the Blue Dragons. Griffin will check out. Check who's going to check back in. A couple couple different players over there. Messiah Francis will retain and come back out and set up, and they're also going to set up Tyler Harris on the far side. No setback for the Blue Dragons. They'll go without an empty backfield. Back there is McKenzie. He steps back, steps up in the pocket, wants to throw the football. Now he decides to run with it. Has close to the first down. He's across the 30 to the 35. Still going on his feet down to the 15, 10. Touchdown, Dragons!
Nice block by Gary Cross. Finished that play as Cross picked up a defender at the 20-yard line, and that let Dominic McKenzie make it the last 20 yards for the touchdown.
Wow, a 44-yard touchdown run by McKenzie on a keeper. He wanted to throw the football. There was no up back there at all, no tailback. It was all receivers. 8:33 to go in the contest, and the Dragons have opened it up. It's 47-0, a 44-yard run by McKenzie. How about that? Busted play and comes up with the big run. He just kept going, had a hand and a couple blockers back, and right cross with a big block out there. Point after kick, the bat is going to be fumbled away, keeping it. Now they're going to throw it, and it's going to be picked off, and that's going to be for naught. He's down right there. So
Cameron Durand with the interception. But again, if he'd have stayed on his feet to pick that off, he would have had an opportunity to run it back for 2 points.
8:33 to go in the fourth quarter. Dragons 47, Independence nothing. We'll wait to Dragon kickoff in 30 seconds. He just kept going, had a hand and a couple blockers back, and right cross with a big block out there. Point after kick, the bat is going to be fumbled away, keeping it. Now they're going to throw it, and it's going to be picked off, and that's going to be for naught. He's down right there. So
Cameron Durand with the interception. Again, if he'd have stayed on his feet to pick that off, he would have had an opportunity to run it back.
Smith, Deontay Ambler, back for the return for the Pirates.
All right, here it's 47-0. Blue Dragons on top after scoring the touchdown. A 44-yard run by McKenzie. Point after touchdown was not good. It was going to be a field goal, but it was botched. They tried to go for 2, and by way of, because of the botched snap, and it becomes a mute point as the ball was picked off and down at the 2-yard line. 8:33 to go in the fourth quarter. By the way, Pistols blazing down Stillwater. Oklahoma State 14, TCU 9. First quarter action, 1:50 to go in the first. All right, here we go on the kick. Blue Dragons. Squib kick on the left side is going to be picked up by the Pirates. They're going to try to return it at the 25, and they'll be dropped at the 27-yard line. Good defensive play right there by the Blue Dragons. Number 27 out there on the tackle of the Blue Dragons is Paul Davis.
Yeah, Deontay Ambler again with the return for Independence.
8:26 to go in this fourth final period. Independence Pirates football. Perkins will come back out. He'll be the quarterback.
Looks like a new fullback as well into the ball game. That would be.
Well, also Matt Cookson back there at a tailback spot. What do you got for fullback?
Isaiah Amakwa.
Good defensive play right there by the Blue Dragons. All right, Perkins the quarterback to give to. Again to Cookson. Cookson around the right side, and he'll be stopped after a gain of maybe 2 on the carry. Second down and 8. 8:26 to go. They'll put the nose of the football right at the 29-yard line. Defense has been stellar today. They gave up that long opening drive for the Pirates after the Blue Dragons put 7 on the board. They kicked off, and Pirates drove it all the way down. What was that, the 18-yard line, and then they sack. On fourth down, took them out of that, and ever since that, it's been all Dragons. Some Blake Middleton, 4 touchdowns, huh? What a day. All right, back to passes. Perkins rolls out, goes across, throws it up, incomplete, and just about picked off. Bodies everywhere, and there was about 3 or 4 guys that had a chance of it there.
Is tipped, almost intercepted, and then Blake Hammond from Solomon, Kansas, almost came away with the reception.
It brings up a 3rd down and 8 call now facing the Pirates.
One thing the Dragons have been able to do defensively is Independence has not been willing to throw the ball that much. So the Dragons just putting the 3 down linemen there. But anytime someone gets the ball, the linebackers are just running up there and stopping the gap right there, filling the gap, and making a lot of tackles. And that has been pretty much the way the Dragons have shut Independence down today.
All right, here we go. Perkins, still the quarterback. They move a fullback over, and they give up on the right side, nothing there.
Yeah, that was Matt Cookson again.
Cookson, nothing there. 4th down and I'm going to say 9. 4th and 9 facing Independence. They'll punt the football away. Collins will come back in to kick it away.
You know, this has got to be frustrating for the Pirates. This is a team that had trouble scoring the last 3 games until last week, the 3 previous games. And then last week broke it open and put 49 points on the board, but they are getting pitched a shutout this evening.
Darrell Miller will punt the football, so a different kicker out there right now. Miller will punt the football away. Left-footed kicker gets it off, and he's going to take an Independence bounce and then back, and it's going to be down right at the 43-yard line for the Blue Dragons. So Hutch will have the ball, 1st and 10 for their own 43. And we have 6:40 remaining to go in this season. Strange thing to say, huh?
Well, it's certainly not what we were expecting. It's certainly not what Ryan Rhodes and the Blue Dragons were expecting. You know, when you get into a situation like this, everybody recruits the same kids. You're looking at hundreds and hundreds of kids all season long. You get your team in there, and you expect them to react in a certain way, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. And that was kind of the way the season went.
It was a play here and a play there is what exactly happened. And by the way, on the post game, I will go down in the field. You'll run out over some of the stats. We'll save Medicine Shop for the wrap-up, so you can kind of do a scoring wrap as I head down to catch up with Coach. A little or no gain on the play for the Blue Dragons.
Arceo, the quarterback. Is that?
Yeah, I think
Louis Arceo.
You're right, Louis Arceo.
Out of El Saline.
Brookville El Saline, 166-pounder freshman. And normally plays wide receiver, so he will be at the quarterback slot. So Dragons got the reserves in there, 6:13 to go. Keep by Arceo, and it gets across the 45. Pickup of 2 on the play. 3rd down and 8.
I'm going to get in the scorebook. I'm going to get some yardage. I'm going to get in the scorebook.
2nd down and 8 to call. Ball on the 45-yard line. Dragons are going to win this one, 47-0 right now.
Trayvon Jones also into the ball game out of Piper. Also into the ball game, Josh Reynolds out of Topeka West, getting a chance to play.
Glad to have everybody along this afternoon. Don't forget Blue Dragon basketball tonight. Rusty Hills, Coach Dan Nacarado with the call on the game. That'll be 7:20 time. There's a offsides. I think they thought they might have had offensive movement as defensive player on the far side moved across. False start's going to be the call. 5-yard penalty. It'll back it up. 3rd down and long now facing the Blue Dragons. So Rusty been along. That'll be a good ball game. I think the most formidable foe maybe in this first month with NDO taking on the Blue Dragons tonight.
You're looking at a team that went to the national tournament last year. Certainly they have most of those kids back, and they have good size and play very fast.
Here's a give. Trey Griffin trying to turn the corner on the right side across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Punt situation. Punting away will be the Blue Dragons. Haven't had to do a lot of that today. But 4th down, and I'm officially going to say 12. They'll mark it at 41.
Malik Trollinger coming up to make the hit for Indy.
And what do you do with all your free time now that you're not coaching?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, you're usually crawling up on mountains or something, or doing something.
Probably try to get a mountain in next summer again. Probably not as
going to get a mountain in. Hey, I'm going to get a mountain in next summer. All right. What are you going to do next summer? I'm going to get a mountain in.
Yeah,
all right.
Probably.
I'm going to mow the yard. Is what I'm going to do.
Well, so they'll probably do a lot of that too.
Right. Stop play before the snap for the punt. And I think a timeout's going to be taken.
I kind of promised my wife I wasn't going to do any more of those adventure.
All right, we're going to take a timeout. 1-minute break coming your way. 4:34 to go in this 4th quarter. Dragons lead 47-0. We'll be back in 1 minute. Well, Nathan Burdett will put it away for the Blue Dragons of Hutch. 4th down and 12. He'll get a kick on it. Sidewinder kick is taken at the 27-yard line by Independence, and that's as far as they're going to go. The stop was made. That was Dwayne Smith on the return, and Dragons let it get across the 30, up to about the 34-yard line. Let's see where they officially marked the ball. Might be closer to the 35. But with 4:22 to go, Hutchinson has played well today. And Blake Middleton with 4 touchdowns. Young freshman out of Hutchinson comes up with a big day in 200-plus yards. 4:22 to go in this contest. And they're going to mark the ball right at the 33-yard line. It's been a good day for the Blue Dragons.
It has. They've been solid throughout, and a few moments, but other than that, it's been a good game.
All right, snap to Perkins, gives it straight up.
It's fumbled.
And it's going to be fumbled away, but I think they retained possession.
They did. Cookson never got a clean handoff, and then it bounced off one of the linemen from Independence and rolled back to the quarterback, who was able to fall on it.
They'll mark it at the 30. Loss of a couple. 2nd down and 12 for the Pirates. Clock nearing the 4-minute mark here. Oklahoma State leading now 14-9 over TCU. TCU got a field goal out of it into the first quarter of play. Iowa on top of Indiana 14-3, and Florida State on top of Clemson now 7-3. That's number 1 Clemson, by the way. There's a give up the middle. Collins works its way close to the first down. It depends on the spot. It looks like they're going to take it to the 42, and from that angle, he'll be about a half-yard short.
It's going to be just short, but a nice run by Collins. Ran over one Dragon defender and then accelerated into the backfield, able to pick up some good yardage. But again, it is 3rd and not quite 2.
All right, 3rd down and a little bit over a yard, so you're right, Rob. We'll call it 2 officially. Nose of the football at the 41. Independence Pirates, that's Perkins, the quarterback, back in the shotgun, gives it off to Collins, and Collins has the first down up to the 45-yard line. So they'll move the chains now with 3:01 to go. They'll stop the clock with 3:01 to go. Collins is a sophomore, so he's playing his last game as an Independent Pirate. Pirates came out, opened up against Butler, and they had a win last week. All right, 3rd down over Fort Scott in a big way.
Jordan Johnson, 205-pound running back out of Winfield, into the ball game now, replacing Collins.
You can call him JJ. Independence Pirates. All right, now we get set. Perkins, the quarterback. He has been since he had to replace Gimmel, who was tossed out of the contest to give up the middle. Nothing there. 2nd down and 10 over your call. Loss of a yard on the play.
That was Johnson, and he had absolutely nowhere to go.
2:25 to go in the contest. 47-0. Hutchinson's going to win this one. They'll go 5-6 on the year. A disappointing year for the Blue Dragons, but a win to build on nonetheless. I'll run downstairs and catch Coach Rhodes on his postgame, and Rod will do a wrap-up, and then we'll get a medicine shop in after the coaches show. Perkins, the quarterback. He has been since he had back to give. This is going to be back in there is Cookson, and Cookson across the original line of scrimmage and carries forward for another couple. 3rd down and 8. Ball resting on the 47. The Pirate 47.
Down, that'll just keep things moving along, keeping the clock moving. We're down to over 90 seconds.
Always do that to me. It's minute 35 for everybody else out there as the clock moves away. I have to think when you do the 90-second thing, all right? The give, Perkins, nothing there. And again, it was Cookson. He's dropped for a loss of about a yard and a half on the play. 4th down and 10, punt time, and into the ball game to punt the football away will be Gerald Miller.
It's just been, for all intents and purposes here in the second half, although the Dragons have been putting some scores on the board, just trying to get through this rest of this season right now, and fortunately it has been quiet here in the second half.
Oh snap, it's going to be blocked. Blue Dragons are going to try to get on it. That's returnable. Still loose on the ground. Finally the Dragons roll on it. Still loose. It's going to go out of bounds at about the 16-yard line, and it will be Dragons football right there. How about that?
Well, they've been getting close all day long, and finally there was a bad snap, and the time it took to pick up that ball was more than enough for the Dragons to pounce on it.
So Dragons are going to have the football with 43 ticks left on the clock. They lead at 47-0. And Hutchinson will win this ball game, go 5-6 on the year. Indy, tough loss. They'll regroup. I like their head coach. I hope nothing happens in that department. Steve Carson, his 6th year here at Indy. He's got some good things happening here.
He's been trying awfully hard to get this team back in the right direction, and with the changes in the rules allowing to go after extra kids and everything, certainly they're having that opportunity to do so. Dragons in the victory formation. They will just fall on the football here with 43 seconds to play. And Independence does have a couple of timeouts. I don't know if they will use them or not. It looks like they are just going to let the clock run. And the Hutchinson Community College Blue Dragons are going to come away with a win here this afternoon in Independence. Believe it or not, they go 4-1 on the road. They win just one ball game in the friendly confines of Gowan Stadium. You have to scratch your head on it, but that again, that is just the way this season has gone. Clock is starting to tick down. Both teams actually leaving the field with 10 seconds to play, and that is going to do it. And cooler heads prevail here in the second half. And the final score as the clock runs out, the Hutchinson Community College Blue Dragons with the win this afternoon as they defeat Independence in Independence. Final score 47-0. Stay with us. We'll have the stats and more. We'll also hear from Coach Ryan Rhodes as our post-game show gets underway. 47-0, the final score. We'll take a 2-minute break. You're listening to Blue Dragon Football.
Pirate fans, let's show these Pirates your appreciation for the hard work they put in this year. Thank you for coming out and be safe going home.
Independence final score 47-0. Stay with us. We'll have the stats and more. We'll also hear from Coach Ryan Rhodes as our post-game show gets underway. 47-0, the final score. We'll take a 2-minute break. You're listening to Blue Dragon Football.
Anybody want some? Come get it. You know where to find me. I can see you got everything you need. Once you finally get here, you ain't gonna wanna leave yet. Music and drama, we all got the knowledge. We working so crazy, we all workaholic. This is our moment. We destined for greatness. The school is amazing. I'm happy I made it.
Here's anybody can make it. Opportunity comes, make sure you take it. Step on stage, don't ever fake it. Be yourself, don't settle for less, but be afraid to share this with your message with pride. People sure to know it. Anybody.
Voice and music, theater, education, fun. Fly now.
Anybody can make it. Opportunity comes, make sure you take it. Step on stage, don't ever fake it. Be yourself, don't settle for less, but be afraid to share this with your message with pride. People sure to know it. Anybody.
Voice and music, theater, education, fun. Fly now.
Welcome back. Again, the final score 47-0. Our final score in Independence. Hutchinson ends the season with a record of 5-6. Let's take a check of some of the statistics for you. Blake Middleton with a great day today as he carried the ball 20 times for 222 yards. His longest run was 71 yards. He also scored 4 touchdowns this afternoon, so a terrific day for the freshman. Trey Griffin almost eclipsed the 100-yard mark, but he only had 9 carries, 88 28 yards. His long run was 31 yards. And he averaged almost 10 yards a carry as well. Dominic McKenzie also had a touchdown on a long run. He had a 44-yard touchdown scamper. He ended up with 64 yards on the ground. And he was just very efficient throwing-wise. Dragons really didn't have to throw the football a lot. 63 yards of Dominic McKenzie's 119 total yards passing came on the very first play of the game when he hit Gary Cross on a 63-yard fly pattern. The ball was tipped originally by an Independence defender, and then Cross able to haul it in at about the 20-yard line. It scampered the rest of the way for a touchdown, and Hutchinson was on the board instantaneously. It took just 17 seconds for the Dragons to get on the board. Middleton then tacked on 3 straight touchdowns, 2 in the first quarter and 1 in the second quarter. And the Dragons led 27-0 at halftime. Cross caught another pass for a touchdown. 10 minutes left in the third quarter. That made it 34-0, and then Middleton with another run, this time from 11 yards out, making it 41-0. And then Dominic McKenzie, that 44-yard scamper in the fourth period with 8 minutes to play. And that is the final score, 47-0. Hutchinson with 496 total yards of offense, but it was the defense that was the star today as they held Independence. Believe it or not, Independence ran more plays than Hutchinson, 67-53, but Independence could only muster 153 yards on the day. Wesley Collins ends up being the lead running back. He had a nice afternoon for Independence, 23 carries and 118 yards. He averaged 5 yards a carry. His longest run was 45 yards. That came in the fourth quarter. Edwin Thomas with 25 yards. Tremaine Benton, who was one of 4 Independence players to be thrown out of the ball game after this fight in the first half, ended up with just 18 yards. Matt Cooks in the Salina Central product had just 6 yards. Gimley was 6 of 10 for 26 yards. He was sacked 4 times. He also threw 1 interception. Perkins was 8 of 6, and he threw 2 interceptions. That, of course, why Independence just simply stayed on the ground with the football and did not try to do anything too special through the air on the day. The leading receiver, Kamani Holsey, who ended up with 1 reception for 14 yards. So that is the way things shaped up here this afternoon. We are waiting to
take a break real quick, and then we'll get into the coaches show. Okay?
Absolutely. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout here. We're 47-0 the final. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening to College Ball.
Later. I don't know if there was overlapping sounds, and that's what that was doing, but I couldn't figure it out. Okay, these 2 are from last night.
Yeah.
The one with the white tape is today's.
Okay.
And then the other 3. These 2 I'm not sure. And then I'm assuming the other.
Let's see.
47-0 the final score this afternoon here in Independence. Let's go down to the field and hear
Here's the set for the coaches show right now, and Coach Ryan Rose. Nice way to finish it out. Took care of business. And Blake Middleton, you didn't know till I told you, 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards. He had a stellar career to his freshman year that he had this year. But your whole team played well today. Even the scamper out by McKenzie from 44 yards out for the TD. Nice effort, 47-0. You got the shutout.
You bet, Glenn. Really proud of the way the guys finished. You know, I got to tell you that, you know, it's hard to keep young guys going when times get tough. And this team hung together. It says a lot about them. And really proud of how they played today. You know, I thought we really played really solid defense. They had a few plays here and there, but, you know, the guys did a great job of today, and just really happy for our team, happy for assistant coaches, and really everybody associated with Blue Dragon football. You know that it's been a tough year for us, but we finished on a positive note, and again, I'm happy for everybody and real proud of our group today.
Yeah, you don't think about it too much, but you recruit these kids. Most of them, just about all of them, come from winning programs. There's a couple of little diamonds in the rough that you're able to get from programs that don't have winning records. But at the same time, I said it on countdown to kickoff. Hey, this is a group of winners.
Really proud
they're
of the
going
way
to
the
want
guys
to step up and
finished.
get
You
it
know,
done. You can have 1 or 2. They're going to say, "Oh, the season's done." But as a whole,
you
your
know,
whole team stepped up and
young
took care
guys
of business
going
today.
when times get tough. And again, that's just this team hung together. It says a lot about them. Did a really good job. We had a good week of practice. How they played today, and really that's the way it's been each week. I mean, the guys have really solid defense, really prepared well, in spite of a lot of injuries and in spite of the challenges we've had. But again, I'm just proud of them, and you know, I tell you, to kind of build on what you said, I mean, the expectation to win is they know when they come to Hutch that there's a big expectation, you know, to be a championship caliber team. So I think our young guys definitely understand that we missed the mark this year, and we got to be a lot better in the future.
63-yard touchdown to start it off. First play for Springs. Nice catch by Cross on the deflection. Was able to take it in the end zone. Then you turn around, and the Pirates get a nice drive. They get it all the way down inside the red zone, but the Dragons reacted on 4th down, got the sack, and that seemed to really turn the tide.
You know, Glenn, I thought the quarterback today was very similar to what we played last week. Guys finished around. They got yardage running the ball. They got yardage, answer passes once they start trying. I thought our D-line just did a great job of keeping them bottled up. Ran a couple a few more pressures today. That's the way it's been each week. Just our D-line really doing a good job of collapsing the pocket together as a group, and then one guy being able to finish them off.
Coach, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and wrap up the season. Again, a great win by the Dragons today, 47-0. We'll be back right after this.
To kind of build on what you said, I mean, the expectation to win is they know when they come to Hutch that there's a big expectation, you know, to be a championship caliber team. So I think our young guys definitely understand that we missed the mark this year. We got to be a lot better in the future.
63-yard touchdown to start it off. First play for Springs. Nice catch by Cross on the deflection. Was able to take it in the end zone. Then you turn around, the Pirates get a nice drive. They get it all the way down inside the red zone, but the Dragons reacted on 4th down, got the sack, and that seemed to really turn the tide.
You know, Glenn, I thought the quarterback today was very similar to what we played last week.
Welcome back again, Coach. A nice win today, 47-0, and now it's a rebuilding year. Now it's time to get out of recruiting. Really, part of being a football coach that has to be in college. The job really starts kind of like now with the off season. You guys got to start to get the map out, get the plans out, and start to build this team for next year.
Yeah, we've already got the keys to the cars to go recruit, so we're able to get 5 guys on the road and wrap up the season. Over the next 2 weeks,
we'll be back right
we'll
after
be
this.
real intensive. We said, I mean, the expectation to win is the guys, you know, when they come to Hutch, circle 90 miles around Hutch. That's where a lot of our guys come from. But we'll hit far western Kansas and up in Kansas City area, also southeast Kansas. So we'll be hitting it hard, you know. And you know, I know we had it down here this year, but what I reminded our coaches of, and we all feel good about, is we still have the best town that has junior college football in the state of Kansas. We have the best community college in the state, and we just have so many great things going for us. Yeah, we had a down year this year, but it really has nothing to do with the future.
Right, Coach, the kids start to take their jump down to the classrooms, get the semester strong, and get going after again. It's been a joy again. I'll work with you. Don't forget one more Dragon Talk lesson with you and Rob on Monday night coming up. So good luck to you, Coach, and get that down the road, okay?
Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you guys covering us this year. And tomorrow night, Monday will be a good Dragon Talk because we hand out all the awards.
So that'll be award night. So thanks, Ryan. Ryan Rhodes, great win, 47-0 over the Independence Pirates. We're going to take one more break, and then we'll get a medicine shop post-game council in. Rod Zook will wrap up upstairs.
That's where a lot of our guys come from. But hit northwestern Kansas and up in Kansas City area, also southeast Kansas. So we'll be hitting hard, and I know we had a down year this year, but what I reminded our coaches of, and we all feel good about it, is we still have the best town that has junior college football in the state of Kansas. We have the best community college in the state, and we just have so many great things going for us. Yeah, we had a down year this year, but it really has nothing to do with the future.
The kids start taking their jump down to the classrooms, get the semester strong, and get going.
Back in Independence again, 47-0 the final score. This is the Medicine Shop post-game capsule. The Medicine Shop at the 14th and Main at the Little White Castle. Rich and all the rest of the crew taking great care of you when you need all your pharmaceutical supplies, and even if cards, little mementos, things you need to get. Certainly they can take care of all of that too, and I'm really appreciative of them, of all they helped me with when I was making my trip down to Mexico. They're able to get me some needed medication that is not always easy to find in this area, and certainly not used a whole lot for what I was using it for, but definitely they were great to get me all of that, and took really good care of me. And they'll take good care of you too. The Medicine Shop, make sure you stop by again at the Little White Castle at 14th and Main for all that.
Here.